Great idea.
Because I was going to tell you, if it takes too much time, it's not worth it's, sometimes you put too much time into it, it's not worth the effort to continuously do it.
Exactly.
Look at that. The meeting hasn't even started and we've already fixed one problem. We are good.
Uh-huh.
Best meeting around.
Without a question.
And good evening, all. How's everybody doing?
Well, how you doing?
Hi, Tim. Hi, Billy.
Good
Vertical.
evening.
Good afternoon. I'm so used to the UK meeting that we have earlier. I'm like, good night. It's like 10 o'clock at night when their meeting finishes, their time.
It's good morning to our Aussie friend who just signed in.
I was over by your house, Trace, last week. We were in Biloxi.
I was at Bobby Johnson State Park. I was camping
Oh, we used to love to go there.
last week.
That's the place where don't you drive across the spillway?
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
it.
oh yeah. You never forget
That's
that
it.
place.
Yeah, we were up there last week, and that's the reason why there was problems starting the meeting. I gave Eddie the information, and he had problems getting in, playing around with it. And I was in the process of setting up the camper when we got there at 6 o'clock or 6:30, and Ronnie called me, "Oh, we got a problem," and
Eddie.
trying to get in, trying to do it on my cell phone and everything else, and
Dark outside, everything. Yeah, you're behind the curve already. Yeah.
yeah, my wife's yelling, "Hey, what's going on? What are you doing?" Because we were just setting up. I think I'd plugged in the power and had the slide out, and that was about it.
We went to the
So,
blues festival in Biloxi, their first time barbecue and blues. It was pretty good.
Okay, neat.
Hi, Eddie.
Hey gang, how y'all?
Looking good, Eddie.
Good evening,
No
Lee.
Band-Aids, Brenda?
No Band-Aids.
No Band-Aids, all right.
And I was just out in the garage too. Yeah, working on a
Hey,
bowl. with
I
a
can say
lid.
the same thing. I've been sorting through trash and treasures all day, and I didn't come away with any blood dripping anywhere.
Good, good.
Did you find two of any one tool?
Billy, I got you beat. I got you beat, bud. I found 4 of the exact same gouges.
I know, I'm bad about that. I don't know what it is. I guess it's just age, huh?
Yeah, and 2 of them have got the same handle, same branding, everything else. So, I really went on it.
You were consistent though. You knew exactly what you wanted.
Oh, and I liked it, yes. I've been out sorting trash and treasures and putting things in boxes, and that's a comment my wife made yesterday. She said, "Do you have enough boxes?" I said, "Have you gone out on a front stoop yet?" The box, yes.
Wow. I've been turning some magnolia.
Oh, how nice.
It's I don't know. It's pretty when you first turn it, but then when you put anything on it, it just gets darker and it looks dirty. The wood just looks dirty. But hey, I guess the beauty's in the eye of the beholder,
I work with someone. I think I did it with somebody, and we put something on it to stabilize that color. It'll come to me in a little bit. It was an easily available product and stabilized that color, and didn't give that wet look to it.
I've just been doing Christmas ornaments. I hadn't been doing anything special with it, but still, it was just disheartening to look so pretty, and then when you put the extra effort into your finish, it just turns into a that's hard to say, a dirty oak finish.
Rolling the trash cans out tonight, I asked my wife, "Where's my branch?" Because while we were away from home, her favorite niece came over with her friend and trimmed up some stuff, including took a big branch off the tree that scared my wife. And her and I have been fighting over this one for years. And they also cut the Asian jasmine off my tree, and I had a piece of Asian jasmine that
Mm.
climbed my oak that was 2.5 inches in diameter, and about 5 or 6 foot long. And I kept saying, I want that piece, I want that piece, I want that piece, and it got moved. But she told me where she hid it at. Because I don't know what I'm going to make out of it, but you know, it came off the front lawn. I can't let it just go away.
I've been turning for a while, and I had my first, and you're going to laugh, I don't know what to call it. I had my first real life bug splatter. I mean, in a piece of wood that had no indication that it had a wormhole or anything in it. And I'm turning, and next thing I know is kaplam. Had it all over me.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was a big old freaking white looking worm with a red head.
I was turning a hat out of a block of a burl, and the same thing happened. It was a decorative hat, wasn't full size. And I mean, it just came, it bounced off my shield. And I said, what was that? Where'd it come from? And it was way down in there. I'm kind of glad it bounced off rather than splat off. We got a
Hey, Brenda.
handful. There he is. What's up, Dane?
Hey,
Must be
Eddie.
chilly. Must be chilly over there.
It is.
Yeah.
I got the chills. It's hazy and overcast out. I don't even think it broke 65 degrees today.
Ooh, that'll do it.
We had that today. It's a heat wave.
Yeah. Well, weatherman just told us it was 5 to 10 degrees above normal here. But hold on to your butt, it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I like a little freshness, but I don't like the nip. Dane, where you been turning? I hadn't seen, yeah, I saw it, some pieces you put up yesterday. We got them in the gallery tonight. Boy, they look good.
No, thank you. That's a piece I started a couple months ago. I really haven't been able to do much turning with the various home projects me and the wife's been working on. So, but I finally got that hollow form completed.
Good. I like that piece on the lake. That's really a nice looking piece.
What is that on his lathe? What is that on his lathe? Has he got a vacuum chuck or something?
Huh?
What is that on your lathe? There's like a pipe, a hose coming up on across the back of your on the top there. What is that?
Oh, that's my power cord for my light.
Oh, okay. I should say it looked like, what is that? You had a hydraulic assist.
Yeah, right.
You don't even have a vacuum chuck. I know that. That was
No.
a bad word. That was a bad word.
Yeah, it's all jam chucks for me.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But yeah, that and the wife she wanted a banded purple bowl, so that's what's in the chuck. So I'm in the process of getting ready to finish it.
A banded purple bowl. That'd be
Yep.
interesting.
Add some character to the mesquite. We got so many mesquite bowls the way it is.
Yeah. Okay, before y'all ask, where's Ronnie? Ronnie's going to the Marines. On his way.
Graduation trip.
Oh, I
think
thought he was
graduation-
joining or something. I was like, oh, I don't think so.
No, they don't take ancient. So throw it back to the fossil years.
Yeah, I knew they opened up their standards and everything, but I didn't know they opened up the age limit again.
Somebody asked me what the age limit was, and I said, I think it's like 50 or something, isn't it?
Age
don't know.
limit to join is 35. Gotta be able
35?
to, yeah, gotta be able to do 30 years prior to your 65th birthday.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, a friend of
Wow.
mine, she had a retired 60.
I'm an ex-Navy recruiter. I know all that stuff.
Yeah, Debbie had a retired 60. She was working for a civilian company, so she made it till she was 61. But that was it for her.
Ronnie called me yesterday that he'd be out of touch today because he was heading to Carolinas to see his grandson graduate. and become a Marine. And he's got that box of pens with him. He's on his way. He's gonna have a good time. Well, I'm sure we'll get some photographs and some information from him.
I guess now's your chance, Eddie, to run over to his house, use his shop up.
I
That
know
would
what
be
door
funny.
opener is.
That would be funny if you could slip in there and just fill it the whole shop full of shavings about a foot deep. And then lock
Yeah.
it back up and not say a word.
And just move all the equipment around a little bit.
Oh, that's all it would take. Just one thing, I'm sure.
Ronnie got an outline of the footprint where everything belongs there.
No, it's a heck of a room. If you move anything, they'll know about it.
Oh boy, in Mississippi's the same way, isn't he? Johnny Hughes. Johnny Hughes
Oh,
has
no,
got
Johnny-
everything's got.
Johnny's knows where everything is at. He's got it down like the 1/4-inch grid, you know. Beautiful
Hey,
shop,
Trey.
well
Hey, Trey,
maintained.
can you set me up as co-host?
Sure.
That just got set in. Tonight, we have Scott Hampton doing a little something on a Wolverine, which is handy, and that's nice. I heard from Sue Gillick today. She should be here this evening for a little while. Sue, you with us yet? No. She got family coming into town, so she'll be with us for a little bit of time, then bug back off. She called me because she has a piece of figured sapelli, I believe she told me it was, for me to make a cane out of when the lathe comes in. I need to make a new cane. I'm really, it's some position I didn't think I'd get into, but if I don't have a cane, me and the ground make good friends real fast. So we got some good demos booked for the next couple of months, the next 2 months or so. And that's all because of Dane, well, all you folks, but Dane hunts them down. It really does.
Yeah, I'm looking
Susan
to
just came
got
in.
a couple weeks to fill in January,
Yep, we got room. We got room. We'll squeeze you in no matter what. We
right?
do.
I'll find a spot for you.
Eddie, Susan just came in.
Hello, Susan. Good to talk to you again today. She might not be completely online yet.
Yeah, maybe not.
She called me this afternoon for a little bit. It's nice to.
I'm here.
Chris-
I was just muted.
Right. Good seeing you, Susan.
Susan,
Yeah, hi, Brenda.
Hey,
how's
Susan.
Susan?
Hi.
She says she's doing better with those broken ribs, getting around, doing stuff.
I even did a thing tonight. I don't know what I did with it. Oh, here it is.
Oh,
bottle
wow.
stop.
Bottle stopper, yeah.
Is that resin you poured in there and cut out?
I'm using, there's no scraps, but you have these pieces of pen tips that you don't use. So
Yep.
I
Mhm.
turned it down to a 1/2 inch and drilled a 1/2 inch hole and put it in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yep. They make nice
Yeah.
medallions.
What I didn't realize though, guys, was I didn't know that sapele darkens. Because I did this out of sapele, a couple of months ago and showed it to you. Now,
I'm
this
getting
is
over to you,
sapele as
Susan.
well, and look at the difference.
Yeah,
All right, now
UV
show.
light.
Hmm.
Yeah, the color gets better with age.
Yep, I mean,
Yes.
in a couple of months, that's gonna look really cool.
All
I'm
wood
gonna give
will
both
darken,
these away on Thanksgiving.
all wood will darken, Susan, with age.
Oh, look at that.
That's-
Martin's in the house.
That's right, Martin, we all get better with age. That's our story, we're sticking to it.
Yes.
Hey,
Mhm.
Eddie,
Hey, Martin.
Hi, Martin. How you doing?
Martin,
how much about?
Mr. Mouse.
Not
Hey,
How
how's
you
it-
doing, Martin?
It's a rat.
nice.
When I was at
Martin,
Spot
you
a
saw
couple
where-
of years ago.
You saw
When I was
where
at Spot a
Brenda
couple
did
of
a
years
fan
ago,
club to you.
I was at spot with my wife a couple of years ago, and then a real nice fellow, big guy, came over to say hello, and he was talking to management, and she says, "Your wife here?" And he says, "Yeah, that's over there, little thick one." I could, if I ever said something like that, I couldn't go back home. That's it.
You would think I had surgery or something when you saw me if I said that.
Martin, I will say one thing on that lathe knife. I have found it makes a fabulous V cut.
Oh, yeah.
It makes, and I have wound up using it continuously, making that V cut, because I can cut in about 3 times deeper than I can with a skew in a single pass.
What I like to hear is that you're using it, you're trying it, you're learning with it. And every single time you pick it up, Trez, as long as you're having a lot of fun with it, that's the way to play with it.
Yeah, I've been using it constantly for a V cut, and a lot of things I've been doing, I've been using it constantly to make those V cuts on it. So I wound up using it continuously on a lot of things. It's become a standard tool for me. The only thing that scares me, I turn it on my rotary thing and I turn it backwards so it points opposite, so I can't reach it very easily because it's so sharp.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's good to hear. Good to hear. There is no point in having tools sat on a wall. Only buy tools that you're going to use.
Yep.
Tools that you're going to enjoy. If you're not using them, get rid of them. There's no point on the glory wall.
As Billy and I, we both have multiples because we like them so much.
Yeah.
Or you forgot you bought them.
I did do this with the skew today, you guys.
Wow, good for you.
And then I kind of cheated and cleaned it up with a 3/8 spindle gouge.
whatever you're comfortable with.
But I
I
was
got a new-
how well
bought
the
a new skew too, and I tried to use it, but I'm still learning.
Well, I just ordered a bunch of bottle stopper inserts and got them in a couple days ago.
I did too. I'm stocking up on supplies. I got
As
damaged
in-
bottle stoppers, CA glue, and sandpaper pads. I've been calling all my contacts, telling them what happened and reminding them what I bought before, because I can't do brand names. I don't recognize them. And with sandpaper, it changes every day. So.
Well,
Well,
Trace,
I've
what kind of inserts did you get, Trace?
I bought the Ruth Nile inserts. I
not
bought two
familiar with
different
that.
I bought 2 different bottle stopper, 2 different wine ones, and then the bottle opener, and then the whiskey ones. And I bought both stainless and brass in the wine.
Do they have
and
a tap
everything.
in? Is it a tap in brass insert that goes in the wood, or how does that?
No, it's
How does that
threaded.
work?
It has a 3/8 thread coming up off the top of it, screws into the bottle stopper.
Okay, so you have to thread the bottle stopper wood.
You thread the bottle stopper wood, and what I've wound up doing, the steps I'm doing on it, is I put the bottle stopper in a chuck. I face off where the bottom of it. I drill a hole with my with a 5/16 drill into the end of it, and then I pull it off of there, and using a drill, electric drill, cordless drill, I use a bottom chaser, a bottom tap on it, and drill the hole into it. Now a lot of people don't do it, but I've been putting the super thin super glue in the hole before I do it,
Oh,
and
yeah,
letting
makes
it
the threads
set.
hard. Oh yeah, it makes them really hard.
Yeah, and then, but I'm threading it with the drill. I just let the drill thread it on down there, and what'll happen is if it hits the bottom of the hole, normally it'll just slip in the drill anyway. It gets
Well, you
that
could-
tight
yeah.
down there.
If you got a
So-
torque setting on there, you might be able to set your torque setting on your drill so it wouldn't pull the threads out.
I usually can feel it, and I usually don't hit too much, but I'm drilling the hole about 1 inch deep, so I have about 1 inch of thread down there that I'm playing
okay.
with. So,
Oh, okay.
and I'm never getting close to the top of it. Then back it out of there, and then thread it on there on the lathe and do it.
Because I had found some of those tap in, I forgot the name of them. They're brass inserts that you tap in and glue in at the same time, and they're friction fit. You tap them in flush and then you screw in. I forgot what size they are.
Well, I actually tried, I've got some of that type of insert that you put into the wood. And I tried it in a couple old bottle stock, a couple of the, some that I was converting from cork to the stainless. And what I found it was doing was splitting my wood.
Yeah, it's
because your bottle stopper's ingrained.
Yeah,
and it's critical on the size and how much force it's putting on there, and it actually starts breaking that wood out.
Yeah, you got it. It's critical to get that hole the right size, depending on what type of wood you're using. If it's
Type
soft
of
wood,
wood.
you want to drill it a little
Yeah.
tighter. If it's harder,
Yeah.
you want it looser.
Well, what I ordered, and I haven't tried it yet, I bought, she also sells some inserts that are glue-in inserts. They're not threaded. And I got a handful of those to try. I've got some brass and stainless. I think I like the stainless better because the stainless have a bottom on it, so the glue can't get into it. So you put it in there and push it in there, and the glue's not going to get into the bottom of the hole. So I'm thinking I've got that to try it on some of the ones that I'm trying to convert over
Hey,
from.
hey, Trace, have you
yeah.
thought about putting some tape on the bottom of the ones that you're trying to thread in, that like the brass ones? That'll keep that glue from penetrating inside the threads.
No, I have not. But I've got just a few brass ones to try, but the stainless and brass are the same price. So I'm thinking the stainless is going to work better. The brass also looks like it has some slots into the side of it. There's some that she purchased and is just reselling, but the same price. I think I'm gonna have more glue problems and squeeze out on it than I am the stainless. So what I've got is I have a lot of blanks. Okay.
It's hard to see, but that's not in a bottle stopper. It's just in a handle. But,
just in a handle. Okay.
I can't remember exactly. It's a tap in.
Okay.
But
I'm
at the
thinking,
hardware store in the corner by my house.
Yeah.
well, I have some that do the thread ends like that, but the one, I tried it on a couple of them and I was splitting the wood because it's pushing down the grain of the wood too hard. I split some on it. And I have a handful of bottle stoppers that have the 3/8 dial on it, and trying to move it from a 3/8 dial to the one that the thread takes. The problem is that it's grabbing, the threads are in that edge of that glue joint because they're both 3/8. So I need to put an insert in there. It doesn't grab that at that edge very well, the conversion edge from where the dial goes in and the natural wood is. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Today I found a drive center that is a little bit smaller than 3/8. So you can drive it into a piece and turn it, and it's a center. And then when you pull it off, you can thread in your stopper. And that's an old system. That's before I met that lady Ruth Niles.
Well,
I still got old stoppers.
Her drive that she sells for bottle stoppers will self-tap that thread.
Yeah, I know, it's got the slot in it.
Yeah, it's a slot in it to tap the thread.
I found
the easiest way to do it actually is I put a bottom tap in a drill, and I just run it in with the drill.
Okay.
Just in a cordless drill, and it works beautiful. I put it about an inch deep, and it just it takes 10 seconds in and 10 seconds out or less, and it's done.
I have those taps. I may play that. I don't have the hand strength to grab the piece and push it on the block anymore.
Well, I grab the block it with put a pair of glove, put a glove in your left hand that you're holding the block in, because when you get toward the bottom of it, it gets a lot of pressure on it. It'll spin in your hand and mess your hand up. Grab it in a glove, and then put that tap in the drill and run it in there and out with it.
I will be trying that.
I know you can do it on a lathe too, and use your tailstock and turn the lathe by hand. and you can keep pressure on that tap and it'll keep that tap perfectly straight. The tailstock will.
But I haven't had a problem holding it straight
Yeah.
with the drill thing.
I'm just saying people that you know have a hard
Yeah.
time getting that tap started straight. Some people do.
Yeah.
I went over to show a guy how to turn a bolt today.
I got some stoppers to show
He's
you.
local, and he couldn't hold it. And I pulled out my Ron Brown's best new Longworth type thing with some discs that you can bolt onto it. And this guy went nuts. I mean, he's got 10 bowls he could never finish because he didn't know how to hold them. And he was like, Dane, no vacuum for me. But he thought a vacuum chuck worked off your shop vac. Really? So he should be in a meeting tonight.
It doesn't.
A lot of people think that. A lot of people, well, it'll work off your air, your shop air, but
Well, they've been double
I can't handle the noise. There's enough noise already.
Yeah, I have one of those double Venturis, or I had one. That section is, it's going to take a little time to dig that one out. About 1,000 pounds of hardware was on the top 3 shelves, and
You can get a nice little air conditioner servicing vacuum pump for under $200. I think about $120. I got one.
yeah, mine was 88 at Harbor Freight.
Yeah, it's made. It's 100% duty cycle. I mean, it's made to run for hours and hours and hours. You know?
I'm cleaning some tools that got a little rusty, number one. And I'm using electrolysis. And today I put I used to do this, and I can remember it. Got out today, did all the hook, and I didn't see anything, no bubbles, nothing happening. I looked it up on the internet, and the guy said, you got to put a little bit of baking soda in there, or Arm & Hammer laundry, something to make the molecules move faster through the water. I sprinkled that in there, and it was instant. I mean, I put a vise for my drill press in there earlier today. I take it out and wash it right now. It's ready, but I flipped it over, let the rest do it. I realized that it only removes the rust pointed at the diode, at the receiver. And if you put the receiver down in there in a bowl, the tank, it only cleaned 1/2 or one side of the piece. And there was a great YouTube on a guy having 4 prongs going down and all wired together. We didn't get that far.
We used to have a CAD plating machine, where I worked. So everybody was using that for their special projects. Nickel cadmium is the CAD plate steel is, they don't do it anymore, but it's good stuff.
Yep. We brought up roof nows, and roofs stoppers are made in the United States, actually in St. Charles, Missouri, by a young fellow named Paul Holmes. And Paul and his family do all this operation. He created those new stoppers with the different size rings in them for wine bottles and stuff. Oh, that wasn't me. Okay. No screen sharing, folks, until we invite you, please. Because I can't control it if you jump in. But Paul makes those items, and a lot of other people's subbed it out. All they do is get them in and ship them. Well, I can tell you, every single piece that Ruth sells comes through Paul's hands, and if it's got a defect, it ain't leaving his shop. He's the finest machinist I've ever met. I had a position one time in a major corporation. We needed a machinist to do fixtures. I partnered up with Paul, never looked back. It was unbelievable, the difference. And he used to work for the company that made the fixtures that I was using. So that's why I trust talking to Ruth. You got a problem with that stuff, you can call her. And she's a wood turner.
Eddie, do I need to, I can block the sharing till later if you want to.
If you can, yeah, I can't. Yes,
I could do that. I can block the screen sharing.
Yeah. Because Scott's got something running right now as a screen, and it's jumped in a couple of times. So,
Okay, I'm the only one who could share right now, so I'll change it when we get, when you need to go somewhere.
all righty, great. Get out of that. We're gonna add a little something to the meeting in the next couple of weeks. I had a long conversation with the fellow that develops these programs, like Zoom programs, et cetera. And I said, my members of a club always have these questions about what you can do and how do you do this and why am I getting that? And he said, why don't you do a tech moment? And since we have a great website, we can do a tech moment. David can clip it out and put them in their own folder on our website. So if you want to know how to add this or how to get out of that, or really how to share, how to use the whiteboard, which
I'm
is
being nice.
Zoom is changing the program with the whiteboard to where we'll be able to do sketches live on the air and correct each other's sketches live on the air. I watched a 2-hour presentation by Zoom today, and there's absolutely no way I'll ever comprehend everything they're offering, and it's all free with that free membership. I mean, you can get it all. So we're gonna do a tech moment. I don't want to go too far with this and too deep, but I want to help those folks that need a little assistance, who are not tech savvy and their grandkids aren't around to help them. Because my granddaughter right now, I think she's 10 now. She is a whiz with a computer, just a whiz. So John Combs in Alaska says he wants me to remind you folks that he is making Coast Guard, pardon me, I can do this. John Combs in Alaska, and just want to remind you that I am making freedom pens for U.S. Coast Guard. He mailed the first 20 to Kodiak yesterday. John, give us your contact information. Our webmaster is going to put that on our website if you choose. And if folks want to support freedom pens to the Coast Guard in particular, you send them to the Coast Guard. You send them to your address. For the Navy, you send them to Jim Selby. He's in Jacksonville, Florida. He's on our website. For the Marines, send them to Ronnie Barnett. He's on our website. We have somebody for the Air Force and the Space Force, and the Army is good old-fashioned First Sergeant Doug Rowe. So we're doing those freedom pens, and we've accomplished a couple of thousand of them in the last 2 years. Really makes me feel good. Really makes me feel good. Somebody asked me if they see Dane with a cat and coat and hat on. I'm going to pop my gallery up here and see this. I don't know if I can do that. I got to see this.
Yeah,
Brenda
that's
said
correct.
he didn't pay the electric bill this month.
Yeah.
Got no sunshine here in Tucson.
Well, you know what that means is he hasn't been screwing up on his turning, so he has nothing to burn. Right,
There
Dave?
you go.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah.
Burn pile's burning down. Ooh, that's a bad one.
How cold is it, Dane?
65.
It's probably about 65 here in my shop.
You got the AC on?
It feels like it.
It's dry though.
Yeah, it's dry cold.
Yeah.
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 You believe
Yeah,
any of that stuff, Billy? I've never understood
No.
it.
The coldest I've ever been was when the humidity was 100%. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Your bones just can't get warm.
Mm-mm.
Then you get a 23rd mile an hour wind, putting the siding up on the outside of a building, and you think you're working in a refrigerator. Oh,
Trying
there's nothing you can do.
dig the snow out so you can open your front door. That's North Dakota.
Yep.
I drove across a lake one time in Michigan, and I didn't know it was a lake.
Yeah.
The road
Yeah.
went down, and I could see the road come up on the other side. I just thought it was a lot of snow.
Yeah, I can remember when we would drive out on Devil's Lake when we were up at Grand Forks.
I know what you're talking about,
Uh-huh.
but that ice could get 1.5 feet thick sometimes. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's some crazy thick stuff.
folks, we're still accepting information to worldwidewoodturners.org address right there, a website. If you have an article or a feature or an explanation of how to do something, how to make something, mix up something, eliminate something, whatever, worldwidewoodturners.org. That's the place to send it. Our master webmaster will write up, put it on, and put a feature on our website. We're building the world's greatest website when it deals with wood turning. We are. And he is, not us. He is. Dave is doing that for us. Ron Radcliffe says he was stationed at Grand Forks twice, and he's still trying to thaw out.
Right? And that was 40 years ago.
No, when Ron was there, did they have airplanes?
That ain't
All
tankers.
round motors.
Oh yeah, good old AMC.
Somebody said, what good is ammo to the Air Force? Because I was an ammo troop. That's the only one thing. Without ammo, they just want ugly damn airline. But I still like to watch the technology. And what shocks me is that B-52 was created 3 years before I was born. So, and it's still in the air.
I don't know. I always thought the A-10 was a beautiful piece of work. Artwork on wings.
Oh yeah, I used to watch them when I was working at the airbase. They just amazing. All right, why don't we pop a little gallery in here tonight? I think we got 3 or 4 folks that have some items. Dane, do you see them?
Yeah, we got Gary. He's got some bottle stoppers to show, I think. Hey, Gary.
Yeah, I got a few. I turned about 7 or 8 of them the other day. This one's made out of Bocote.
Right in front of your face. There you go.
I like
That's
Bocote.
an owl on the bottom of it.
Oh, I like that.
That is nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and then I've got, this one's Osage Orange.
Oh, that one's beautiful too.
Those are pretty.
How'd you
I'll
do
tell
that
you
Well,
what,
I've
butterfly?
got one.
Where'd you
This
get that?
one
Where,
is,
Hey, Gary, talk about
think
that
this-
butterfly you got on there.
yeah, that's what I want to know about. Where you
Yeah,
get that
I
at?
think this is a cat. I think this is black Lumba.
Right in front of you. There you go.
Where do you get the inserts for the top?
Penn Industries. And the bottle stoppers I buy from Ruth Niles.
Penn State Industries.
That's another one.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, they're all nice. Nice work.
Yeah, pretty.
Then you got the butterfly.
Even a photobombing, huh?
That's nice. That's a nice touch.
Yeah, I like that butterfly effect.
And then I got oh, it's another cat. This is ambrosia maple.
Back it up.
I like the lines.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. It's like a beehive.
Ambrosia maple. And this one is ironwood. This is harder than hell to do, but it's just a fleur de lis, I guess.
Looks very nice.
Those are really nice.
Well,
Yeah.
I did those, and then I was over at Wood Turner's warehouse in Mesa, and I found a couple of bullet
Oh, nice.
Right towards your nose. Right toward your nose.
bullet holders. These are secret compartments. They
Very
come in
nice.
acrylic.
Bring that to the
You get
airport.
those,
William.
I was real busy, and then I turned a real nice cherry bowl too.
Wow.
Very
That's
nice.
pretty good lines.
Where did you get those keychains at?
Woodworker's source.
But then-
That's definitely
work
Brenda
of
right there,
sorts.
those keychains. Where'd you get them keychains? Brenda wants to know where you got them keychains from.
Yeah.
The keychain I got that from Turner's warehouse also.
Turner's warehouse.
Chad is on.
Chad
oh,
Schimmel.
that's that one from England. It's on like Tuesday nights. I can't think of the name of it now. Record Power. And he demonstrates on there his pen turning. It's a pen turner's paradise in there. He's got everything and anything you want for pens. And I go crazy when I go in there. I bought some regular pen.
Like fob pens.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just
secret
turned a ton of
compartment.
I got 2 arts and craft shows coming up in the next 20 days, so I had to keep on turning.
Yeah.
Well,
Those
it's
are impulse
beautiful work.
buys. Those are great.
Beautiful work. Yeah.
Very
Thank you.
nice.
Thank you.
I was in some, okay.
Love your work.
As far as craft shows and things, and he said he was watching at Record Power. That's a pretty good program. It's not at the same time every week. But when you go to Record Power and look up the videos, it will tell you what time in your time zone, in your country, that they're doing this presentation. And you can catch them. I gotta get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to catch some. But I'm willing to do anything for a tournament. But that's another source of a good free demonstration. Tomorrow night, I'll plan on joining Alamo Woodturners for their demonstration. They have one on Zoom, like we're doing, and there's some other clubs doing it. I talked to a turner yesterday, and they want to know more about the program, how to get in, how much it costs and all that. I was bragging about how it's free. I was told that their club does demonstrations and they do it and provided by Zoom and then reruns, but you have to pay to see the reruns. We're not going to charge you to see our reruns. Although it might be a way to generate some extra money since we don't have any money. Yeah, as our financial report's real easy to do. It's done.
Yep. Easiest accounting financials ever done.
Yeah, Gary was talking about those inserts that he put into those bottle stoppers. I used to venture into. All right, leave me alone on this. I used to venture into this jewelry place in the neighborhood that sold accessories for putting jewelry together, and they had a division or a counter. They had more stuff than you can believe, and it was pieces to make lapel pins. You'd buy the piece that's molded, then you'd add a backing to it or decorate it or whatever. And I got some nice pieces. I didn't do what Gary did. I didn't go drill a hole and put them in the top of it. I turned a little bit of a wood stopper, and then I put this piece down on it, and I poured acrylic over it, and then turned it out. And if you do the right timing on it, when you put a little bit in and you wait about a minute, or just a minute, and then you set the piece on, when you pour the rest of it, it looks like it's floating. It's a nifty, it's an attention getter. A little bit involved if you're going to do sales like Gary does. A little bit involved. And I don't think you could hurry it up. Number one, you can't hurry up a epoxy or acrylic. Can't rush it. Remember our contact sheet? We're doing very well developing the contact sheet. We don't have a membership roster. We don't plan on doing a membership roster. I know you know me, and if we need to share information, we can go to our chat and do so. But it came up that we'd like to have for those who wish to participate, we have a way to where you can spread your information through our membership and not to a bunch of bots. Because we get you on a bot, you're going to get junk mail every day and all day long. I must get 30 today. But we're doing this contact list. The way we do it is if you want to be part of this, it's not mandatory. If you want to be part of this, put the information you wish to be in our contact list in chat. Hi, this is Trey Lene. I live in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. My email is such and such. My YouTube is such and such. My phone number is right here. And if you want to get a hold of me, boom, it's right there. Now get this, you put that in our chat. Now tonight before you leave, anytime, you can save the chat. Most can. If you're watching on some devices, you can't. But our webmaster sees that chat. And tomorrow or the next day, he will edit that chat, take out all the information from the chat and put it in our contact list and delete it from the chat. Then he'll put the chat on our internet, on our website. Not confusing everybody? Okay. We're doing that so we don't have live emails and live phone numbers and live addresses go out to the general public, because the bots are made to find that stuff. So if you want to be part of this, we're trying to make it bot proof. When you want to get that list, it's on our website and it tells you how to get to the contact list. On that block, it's got everything you need, and there's a block to uncheck. There's some verbiage you have to put in to the text block so that it recognizes that you, a member, has entered this. And the password is Captain, CAPTAIN. Now, David did that, okay? But that way we can share the information that you want shared. And I think that's really all the talking we did amongst the club and the members and everybody else. It's like, this is the most bot-proof thing we can do right now. And I like the idea, I really do. I just have to remember to download the contact list. What Trey says he's got a couple items to show. Dane, can you light up Trace?
Got him.
Okay. I was up camping this last week and a couple things out of the wood pile. This is a little piece of oak that was very, very rotten.
There you go.
Inside of the burn pile?
It's real
Yeah,
nice. Huh?
it was in the burn pile, so.
There.
That looks,
Looks good.
It's
Yeah,
nice.
the good looking wheat
I
pile.
like,
It's a bud
And-
base.
It's a bud
Oh,
base. And
my
this,
goodness.
this is a
Oh.
little platter that I made out of that same, out of piece of wood out of there.
wow.
Is that the
Wow.
one that was shaking the camper?
That's the one that was shaking the camper, and it's about 12 inches or so from point to point.
Man. Nice.
Sorry, with our G rating, can you say the words chicken and camper?
Call 'em making beans. Making
Okay.
beans.
So, but it was a challenge on turning this. This is a little offset, and I've got a little 14-inch lathe back there, so I had to keep the speed down on it. But I did this. Had a friend come over, and I showed them how to do a 40-40 bowl. You did turn a couple small bowls. Did 2 or 3 dozen bottle stoppers and 2 or 3 dozen bases for some gnomes that I need to finish up. So had a lot of sawdust in the back there. So
Yeah, I bet.
Let's
pretty
bring
cool.
some over to Ronnie's house.
it was the first time I really got to do much turning turning on that lathe. So it was enjoyable and great.
Good.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I bet.
Okay, I got a PM that says if you can't get in Ronnie's house, just put a pile of shavings right outside the door. Like we cleaned up.
I was
Yep.
thinking the same thing. So he'd have to dig his way in.
Yeah.
Yes.
When he opens the door, it just falls on him. That would be great.
Yeah.
And leave one of those things that you use to, what do you call it, brooms? Yeah, leave one of those outside by the door. Let them know we did, sweep it out.
All right, let him know we're actually thinking about his welfare.
Well, just
All
you
right.
pile it up out of outside the door of his shop, and he'll think you've been in his shop and you cleaned it back up.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but he'll know it wasn't me.
You'd have to leave it on the floor, huh?
Yeah, yeah, it's called padding.
Too
You drop a
funny.
piece on the floor, you want it to hit padding. I mean, it's conservative.
Right.
Hey, folks, if you're a new member and just joining us tonight, welcome. And invite your friends. And remember, we're free. And we talk wood turning and every other thing for 3 hours at least every Wednesday evening right here. And if you're brand new and you want to say hello, all you have to do is say hi. Hi, this is Billy, and I'm in Houma, Louisiana. That almost blew away in a hurricane, you know, or
I
something.
got a roof. I got my roof.
Got your roof, okay.
Got my roof.
I don't have my roof. I got 2 rooms repaired, and my contractor's due back the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and we hope at that time that we'll be ready to move equipment in, because I'm anxious. Boy, am I anxious.
Is there
I
anybody
bet.
else I need to make co-host out there?
Hey, guys, y'all know who you are. Perk up. Doug, is it Doug Miller that handles with the handle?
Yeah, he's not in tonight.
He's not here. Okay.
Oh,
Well, hey, Eddie, we got Brent that's got something he's got to show off here. Hey, Brent.
All right, Brent, you're on.
oh, this ought to be good.
Oh, no,
Oh, what you gonna surprise us
always
with this
good.
time?
this one ain't so
Always
good.
good.
This one,
Yes, it
this
is.
one, I'll preface is a bit of this is a prototype, kind of a clunky little Christmas ornament. So if I can get it, it'll.
Like I said.
It keeps raising the bar.
Yes.
Jeez, Brett, come on now.
So here, it'll focus.
Already see it.
So
You're gonna have to put a filter on here.
spinning thing here.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, spinning Christmas tree.
So
That's cool.
it's based, remember the old carousels people used to make with strings kind of things?
Mm-hmm.
It's based on that. So I just wanted to see if I could make something work like that. And that's the idea. So what I did, I just kind of made a thing here, hollowed this out, the inside of the Christmas tree. And it sits
My goodness.
that. I'm not focusing here anymore and such.
55 millimeters.
But I don't know, it didn't work out very as well as I would have liked, but it was an interesting little thing. I used Dean Snowman here kind of thing for stuff and adapted it for a little elf. And the Santa Claus is the same as his snowman and such, but it was just a little kind of thing. And I like
That's
that,
pretty neat.
doubt that I'll do it one because it was a lot of work. And so if anybody likes the idea, take it and run with it and improve on it and such. But it's kind
That looks great. I like it.
Yeah, that's
I like
cute.
it.
it is, like I say, clunky little prototype. And so
Yeah, I see you refining it later on, Brent.
maybe someday. But it was an idea I had, something to play with and such. So.
Well, I'm glad we don't have a limit on raising the bar.
Yeah, right. Yeah, say you're setting the bar pretty low, I think. So,
Oh, that's setting the bar high.
yeah.
He comes in, then he calls it a prototype. That's just not fair.
Right, so, but
What
anyhow,
he's trying to say is it's a one of a kind. That's what he's trying
Unique.
to say.
Unique.
I think the idea has some potential. So with that, it's like y'all remember those carousels that people used to make that spun around like that. I just wanted to try putting the strings on the inside of something and see what would happen with it. And I just thought that sounds like a Christmas tree. So just thought about it for a while and thought I'd see if I could make it happen.
Good idea. Really beautiful idea. We're going to get a photograph for our newsletter also, right?
I don't know about this. This is
Oh,
it's kind of cheesy. So
I already took a picture of it. I'll send it to you, Eddie.
okay. Thank you. All right. See, I'm surprised Dane doesn't have it.
Got another one. All right. Thanks, Brent.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brad.
Hey, Scott. What you got, buddy?
Got out of Wisconsin.
I got a little Christmas second ornament for my collection.
Ooh,
Oh, nice.
beautiful.
Ooh, resin.
So I'm not
Tell
real
me what
happy
the
with the
materials
top
are.
yet. That might change, but
Creative.
I have to give credit to Doug Moore. He's the one that from Pole Barn that sent me the center section. It's leftover resin that he makes into little balls.
Leftover. Old barns, just like Tim Tippin, there's no scraps.
Yeah.
Yep. So it turned out pretty cool. I'm probably gonna make a different top though.
Good.
I like it.
Change it for the seasons.
Yeah, it's all, I hollowed it out so I could turn it on a pen mandrel.
Can you hold it up?
He gave me that idea last week. That was pretty cool.
Hold on.
Yeah,
That's all I have.
that's good.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
Scott.
Appreciate you sharing with us tonight.
Well, Doug Miller is back in the house. Let's pan to Doug and see what's happening in Kentucky. Doug,
Howdy,
talk
guys.
to us.
How to do? How is everybody tonight?
Alrighty, how you tonight, bud?
How you doing,
I'm
Doug?
doing well. I've been out of town Monday and Tuesday. Just got in last night, so I haven't done anything other than some catch up and completing some orders and that kind of thing. So I don't have anything to show this week.
Oh, okay. I thought you. That's what I was reading into your message. Sorry.
No,
Didn't
you're just
put you on
reading
the
in.
spot.
Not a problem, but it is good to be here. I almost forgot and looked up and saw what time it was and thought, oh man, they're meeting tonight. So I jumped in real quick. So it's good to be here and already seen a couple of beautiful things.
Good, good. Glad you're here.
Hey, congratulations, bud,
On
on your new church.
oh, thank you. Yes, that was kind of a surprise thing that came along, but it's good.
Good.
All right. Well, hey,
Good
Terry.
seeing Doug. Terry's with us tonight. What you got, man?
I think I'm there. I should be unmuted, but I'm not coming up.
Yeah,
Hello.
go ahead. Keep talking. I got you.
Oh, okay, you got me.
You're not pulling
I'm
up for some
A couple
reason.
weeks ago, okay, a couple weeks ago, I showed you guys this. Is out of Norfolk Island pine, and I had cut it down to about 2 mil. I wanted it to be translucent, and it was pretty good. And I finished it with white palm polyurethane, and it really got a lot denser. Still a little white through, but not.
Terry, can you hold on a
On the
second?
meeting, yeah.
Terry.
Terry, am I looking at just Dane? Does anybody else see Terry?
No, I'm seeing.
Oh, see Dane. I'm gonna pop up the spot. Now we see Terry. Well, try him again. We'll learn which button to push on this thing one day.
Right.
All right, Terry, show us again.
Okay.
There he is.
This episode was showing that I showed a couple weeks ago. And I cut it down to about 2 mil out of Norfolk Island pine, and I wanted it to be translucent. And it was pretty good, and I put polyurethane on it, and it pretty well killed it. I lost the translucence. You can get a little light through it, but not much. But somebody in the club suggested a mixture of 50 lacquer, thinner, and lacquer. So our club had a meeting in Corpus this weekend, and I went to the meeting, and I left the meeting and noticed that all over Corpus Christi, they were having heavy brush cleanup. So I went cruising, and I got another real nice stash of Norfolk Island pine in very good condition. So I made another one. This is one that I just made. It's not quite done yet, but
we have a
I
screen.
don't know if we can.
We're
I don't
having
know
this.
if we can tell or not. It's about 2 mil too. I don't. Yeah, you can see the light through it. That's how thin it is. That's
Yeah,
a flashlight. Can you see it?
Your screen is locked up, Terry.
My screen's locked up.
Okay, now we can see.
Yeah, we can
Now
see
you're
out.
putting the light on it.
Yeah,
Looks
you can see the flashlight through it.
Yep.
So it came out pretty good. This was with lacquer thinner and lacquer instead of the polyurethane.
That is
And,
gorgeous.
came up pretty good. I've got several more pieces and hopefully I'll have something more exciting to show you next week.
Hey,
Sounds
it's always
good.
exciting.
That's gorgeous.
It's
Nice
beautiful,
job.
absolutely beautiful.
Question.
Okay.
Question. How does Norfolk Island pine differ from like ponderosa or lodgepole or something?
It's softer.
Well, the difference with the Norfolk Island pine is the branches are all circular. They all come out the same way. I don't have a piece, so you see some of this. They're always like this, of the branches. And you can get, sometimes they're more even than others, and you can kind of turn the wood a little bit when you're lining it up in the lathe to try to get them all on the same plane, and they can come through them. But it's really a nice wood. It's so tricky. It's kind of soft, and this isn't punky at all. It's in real good shape, but when you get down to start getting near where you want to go, you need to sharpen your tool just about every other pass if you really want to get a nice clean cut. I'm getting old and don't like to do a lot of that sanding and stuff, so I like to try to get a nice cut. And then if you get too rough with it, it'll tear out big time. Of course, it's turning it end grain, so anything you turn end grain, you got to pull out so you don't get tear out. But I kind of like it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I
Norfolk
got a lot
Island
more
pine.
work with.
It's all about
Yeah.
those, all about the crown with the branches, because they're symmetrically positioned on the tree trunk, and just make a perfect turning when you get your setting correctly.
I was out in Australia about a couple of years ago, and I was amazed how big Norfolk Island pine gets. Some of that stuff was 3 or 4 foot in diameter.
Well,
What happened is back in the 1700s, all the sailing ships coming in, they were thinking Norfolk Island pine, it grows nice and straight. But the problem is they didn't realize it was weak. But they planted it before they found out it was weak. They planted it along all the beach fronts, in Sydney and all those areas. Every place there was a beach, they planted Norfolk Island pine all over the place, so they could use it for mast for their ships. Thinking in advance, but they didn't think because of the radial where the limbs come in radially all the way around it, it'd be weak. So it didn't do them any good. But there's Norfolk Island pine growing on almost every beach in Australia and southern Australia because of that.
Well, we're gonna get down on Masterson to cut some down and mail them to us.
Well, they won't let you cut them down there, but it's these trees are monstrous because they've been there since the early 1700s.
wow.
We had a lot of them brought in around here in Corpus, and last year the freeze took them out, and they were all over, and they're still cleaning them up. But that big freeze we had in the spring last year killed them all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Or most of them. I haven't seen any alive. Huh?
Yeah, I remember that winter blast that came through back in April.
Yeah. So we haven't.
Yeah,
They're
but see,
still
from
cleaning
Sydney
them
on
up. I
up
got
north,
lucky to
it
find
stays
them.
warm. They don't get freezes, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, Doug Rose got something he's got to talk about on freedom pins.
Hey, Doug.
How's everybody doing?
Doug.
Sorry I missed y'all last week. But I got another shout out to a Randy Smith. I looked on the names. I didn't see if he was on tonight. That's just one of about 10 pens he sent me. Beautiful, beautiful pens. So thank you to Randy Smith. Is Ronnie on tonight?
No, sir. He's on
No.
his way to the graduation.
Okay, so that was going to be my next question, is if he did wind up getting enough pens.
I don't recall. We talked yesterday briefly. We didn't talk numbers.
Okay.
But
I
if not,
did
he's
send him a
close.
big batch that everybody had been sending me that I'd stockpiled. And so hopefully that got him to, or maybe even slightly above his count that he was needing.
I thought he said last week that he was going to have the full amount with
Okay,
some
good.
quantity that you were sending, so.
All right.
But
Good
he's
deal.
on his make to a way to make 400 Marines real happy.
All right.
I'm
Good
sure
deal.
we'll get some photographs.
All right. Well, that's all I had. Like Doug Miller, I haven't done much all week. I was working on a big Christmas sled that I'd made for my front yard. Some of you all had commented on my Facebook about that. But I haven't done wood turning stuff here in the last 2 weeks or so. So I don't have anything round to show you all tonight.
All right, bud. Well, good to see you. And remember, folks, Freedom Pens is a program where you, the wood turner, turn a pen and you send it to any of our Freedom Pen contacts, and we actually give them to the active troops. And we're working on doing another 1,000 or 2 this year. We need your help to do it. And Doug got us into that habit. I mean, into that program. And you know, we've permitted a lot with Doug. I mean, he wore a bikini.
Yeah, he cross dresses part
And
time.
a blonde wig. Fortunately, not at the same
For
time.
entertainment purposes, though.
Is it though?
I know, seriously, it entertains me every time.
That's what you keep saying.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
Thank you,
All
Doug.
right.
All right, you
Thanks,
guys have a
Doug.
great night.
All right, let's go to Bill Luce here. Hey, Bill.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you this evening?
Doing
Okay,
good.
but you gotta say hello, ladies, also.
Yeah, there's ladies as well. Yes. Not to be outdone,
Thank
Terry.
you. I don't want to be offended.
Yeah, Terry's 2 mil is really quite thick. I have a cedar platter here and you can see the light through it.
Hey, and it's not a foot. No,
That's cheating.
Yeah, you're cheating.
That's good.
So got a little carried away, but this turned out better. This is a
Well, I like that wood.
yes,
A bowl.
honey maple. No, honey locust.
Honey locust.
Locust. Yes.
Oh, that's hardwood.
It's beautiful wood, but it is some hard to turn.
Yes.
You really do work at cutting it. I'm not sure I would do another one, but it was nice to experience it, and it takes a lovely finish.
That's pretty great.
Nice. That was beautiful. Love it.
Really
Honey
nice.
locust takes a beautiful dye too, Bill.
Does it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it might be worth trying again to try some dye on it, because I do like working with dye.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Good.
Appreciate you sharing, Bill. I think it's a safety minute. We're going to go to our Scott Hampton in a few minutes for a demonstration. Why don't we see what Jeffrey Schell says tonight about safety?
Well, let's see.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, good evening, everybody, guys and girls. Hey, watch a lot of these auto repair shows and stuff, and squinting is not safety glasses. They go like this, grinding with big grinders. No, might be funny, but yeah. Okay. The other thing is, let's talk about chuck stuff a little bit. Chucks, make sure the screws that hold the jaws on are tight. Do maintenance on the chucks. If it's hard to use, it's probably not tightening good. So make sure you clean them, keep on top of them. I mean, that's what's holding wood on, keeping you from getting hit in the face or other body parts. Also, usually with wet wood, you should tighten often. Every once in a while, check it. And if it's got 2 holes, make sure you tighten all 3 all the time. Just keep it. Remember, never leave the chuck key out of your hand. We've heard, Kate talk about that all the time. So everybody be safe out there. May the devil with you. Thank you.
All right, Jeff's our safety director, another volunteer and co-host that pop in here each week to make our to try to make our turning safer. And if you'd like to include or invest anything to the program as such, please do so. But let me ask you, if you go along with me, no wound shots. If you put a Band-Aid on it, that's fine. But I really, and I'm not alone, don't need to see the blood. After my tumor thing, I don't have Used to be if I had a paper towel and a roll of duct tape, I could fix anything, almost an arm falling off. But today, I got a problem with it. So didn't outgrow it. Is Scott Hampton with us? I believe I saw him on a schedule.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Scott, you asked to do something on a Wolverine jig. Are you set up, sir?
I am. And it was Dane that asked me to do this, so.
Well, that's what Dane's supposed to do.
He said everybody liked my last demo so much that he talked me into doing another one, so. And he wanted me to do one on sharpening, so here we go.
Move your wallet to your side pocket.
My wallet?
Yeah.
And the rest of the members too.
Dane can't get to your wallet if it's in your side pocket.
I always carry my wallet in my front pocket, so he can't ever get to it.
Yeah, that's what he means. Well, now I spent some time in the Orient, so I learned a few tricks over there about that.
All right, what's up, Scott? Tell us about the Wolverine.
You're muted, Scott.
Just so you folks.
There we go.
And we mute everybody when a demonstration starts.
Ah, okay.
So we hear the demonstration, not Jeopardy in the background.
You should be able to hear me now then, right?
We got you.
Okay. So this is a Wolverine jig that I use for my sharpening. It's made by One Way out of Canada. It consists of a pocket. Let me switch cameras here. It's got a sliding pocket jig here right under your grinding wheel that slides in and out. And that's used for basic bowl gouge shaping, spindle gouge shaping and such. But if you want the side grinds, this is what you need to do. So Wolverine jig, Varigrind, and it fits right in that pocket and allows you to twist your tool way over to the sides there. And I'll get to that in a minute. But first I want to talk about these. These are the different kinds of grinds you might end up with using this jig. Let's see if I can turn this so there's not so much glare. There we go.
It worked right there. Works right there.
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, this first one is a big no-no. I kind of exaggerated this here, but it can happen where you get that nice curve on your bevel when you're doing like a side grind, but then you end up with a sharp point at the nose. What that means is you're spending way too much time right in this area here. And you're not turning the tool enough to create a nice round shape on your nose. You're just kind of stopping right before that one spot. And so what happens is you're just grinding too much steel away right there. This is a little exaggerated. I mean, you can do it that bad, but it's usually just a slight. But what can happen is that can cause you catches. When you're turning, your cuts will be bad. It'll be hard to start and finish a cut. And so you want to avoid something like that. The best type of Irish grind or side grind you want is have just a slight arch from where it begins in the back down to the bevel. There's a lot of wood turners that like that kind of a arch to it, or straight on down. I like the straight because I do a lot of shear cutting with my bowl gouges, and this tends to work a little better than I find anyway, better than having a curve on the top. Now the bottom one, that happens to a lot of people just learning how to sharpen with a Wolverine jig because they're spending too much time on the side and not enough time on the nose of the tool. They just keep thinking they need to keep going back and forth. And what you'll end up doing is having a concave instead of a convex on top. And it's just kind of throws the whole idea of why you need a side grind or why you want to use a side grind to begin with, because it's just, you can't use a bowl gouge with a arch like that in the grind. Another, it'll cause catches again, just like this one will, but more so with this one. Now for let me grab my grind here. Now this here all depends on where this leg is positioned. The further forward you have it like mine, the more straight up and down your grind's gonna be. The more further back you have it, the more rounded your grind's gonna be. This is good for beginners. It's less catchy. Problem is when you gotta twist that tool just a little bit more, and it kind of could throw your cuts off a little bit, but you get used to something like that. So if you're beginning though, this is a good grind to start with because it's a lot less catchy. The more straight up and down they become, the more catchy they become. So I like it just a little bit straight up and down, but not quite up and down. So that's why mine's on the second notch instead of all the way forward. That's my preference though. It'll depend on how you feel and how your tool feels while you're doing your bowl turning, or even spindle gouges too. I like to put a side grind on my spindle gouges. Some people like to use a fingernail grind, which is just a shorter bevel on, it would come out to here, but it's not so far back that you got that big long edge. So let's get to grinding here. First thing I'm gonna grab is a spindle gouge. And you wanna have a consistent protrusion with this. As far as the length goes here, I'm gonna switch the cameras over. There we go. So I can get that in there, playing. So this is your protrusion area here. And that's all preference too. I do mine between 1 3/4 and 2 inches. I've seen people do it at 2.5 inches. It all depends on how you feel comfortable with the grinding. What I've done here is I drilled a hole. Well, let's see if I can get that there. To the length I like with mine, and I can just drop my tool in when it's in the varigrind there and just tighten it down using the brass knob there. And that way I make sure the protrusion is always the same. It makes setting the V-arm up a lot easier. So it allows you to just keep the V-arm in the same position. And what you want to do is you just want to bend down here, take a look. If you got a light, turn on your light. Make sure there's no light coming in between your grinders here, or your bevel and your wheel, by moving the V-arm back and forth. It's probably a little glary, so I'm going to turn that back off. And you just don't turn on your grinder. All you have to do is just do a really quick spin and take a look and see if it matches. It'll be shiny on the bottom if you have the varigrind pushed too far ahead, or if it's shiny at the tip, it means your varigrind is too far back. So you just want to you can just give it a little tap just like that before you tighten it down to get it right where you want it. Tighten it down really well. You don't want this thing sliding in and out while you're grinding. Just do one more quick spin just to make sure you're right where you want to be. And one thing I also want to mention is this V pocket, that is what creates your bevel. Okay, it's not the varigrind itself, this part. This part's for the Irish grind. What sets your bevel is how far or how forward you have your pocket here. If I moved it forward, I would have a much sharper bevel. If I move it back, it's a more blunter bevel. So I'm just gonna move this camera up, get that a little bit better in there. There we go, that's better. You just swing it. And what we're going to do is we're just going to swing this back and forth nice and easy. I'm going to go to, let's see if I can get there. There we go. We got 2 views there now. Side view and a top view there. So I'm going to, you want to use a slow speed grinder. I have a 600 grit CBN wheel. I just recently bought these. I've been using ceramics for a little over 20 years, and I just got these last month. I've been using ceramic wheels. They work great. If that's what you have and you're happy with it, by all means, keep using them. There's absolutely no reason you need to switch over to these. A lot of people say, oh, it's great. That's what you need to have. Everybody should have them. It's not so, because everybody, before CBN wheels became popular, everybody used ceramic wheels and got along just fine. The reason why I bought them is because I'm switching over to more expensive tools like Thompson tools. And these tools tend not to wear the steel as fast. And I got tired of buying like $100 gouge, and then in a year it's ground to where I can't use it anymore. I turn that much, but the 600 grit CBN wheel is going to save, I'll get like 3 or 4 years out of that tool instead of 1. So it's worth the investment if that's the kind of tools you have and want to save a little bit money on repeating buying gouges over and over. So what you want to do is you want to start on the side, not the nose, because you'll flatten it out. And you just bring it right up there. Nice and easy touch, no hurry. Bring it right up into the nose there. Bring it back. Start swing it to the other side, same thing. And that's pretty much sharpened already. But I'm going to do a couple more swipes there. It looks like my BR might have been just a little bit out. So I'm just going to give it a little tap here. Use my handle here. There we go. I moved it before I started, so I'm just going to check that. There we go. We're on there now. And you could look at it and tell that you're sharpening where you need to be. And you want to finish with the nose of your tool. You want a nice round nose. You don't want anything really pointy or it's going to be really grabby and self-feeding into your tool, into your wood.
Yeah, leave camel humps.
Huh?
So that'll allow you to leave camel humps in your turning.
Oh yeah, yeah. So no real points. Now there's some wood turners that prefer to put like a second bevel on there. There's nothing wrong with putting a second bevel on the lower part. I do that. I sometimes do that on my bowl gouges, but I usually stay away from them in my spindle gouges because I don't find that necessary. So I'm going to grab my larger bowl gouge here. Now this is my Thompson tool. It's out of its handle. I find that if you can take it out of the handle to do your sharpening, I have quick release handles, so it makes it much more easy to sharpen your tools without that big old handle in the way. So I'm just going to set it back in that piece of wood there. Tighten it down really well. And I'm just going to bring it up just slightly just to see where I'm at. Okay, so I'm a little bit back. I'm a little bit too forward for it. So I just tap the V groove a little bit more. I'm still seeing a little bit of light. There. Wow, that's way out. There we go, I got it. And the same thing, just a real simple See where we're at. Still a little too forward. Almost.
About split screen again.
I'm hearing something in the background. There we go. Wow, that is way. I thought I had all this set up well. There we go. Same thing. A couple of swipes that way.
Scott, we lost your camera angle on the sharpening. We got the long
Oh,
distance view.
okay, here we go. There you go.
There it is.
Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay.
So just a really quick, almost there. I can tell by the way it looks. You can see the dull parts along that tip there. So that's what you want to get rid of. And once those dull sections are gone, I don't think I've actually sharpened this gouge on these new wheels. There we go. Same thing on this side. It's there. And when I saw all my friends getting CBN wheels and they're talking about how much money they spent on them, I'm like, I think I can hold off. And I did until I noticed how choppy and rough my sharpening was on these Thompson tools, because they are a different kind of metal than like your Sorbies. And see, you know, the regular H2 high-speed steels. I like a nice round nose on mine, as you can see there. But that's about all there is to doing the side grind with one of these. And anybody have any questions before I move on to another kind of tool?
I think I'm okay, but I gotta make the comment that we have seen several different sharpening techniques in our club meetings, and we will see more sharpening techniques. And because it's like everybody's got two elbows and those are their opinions. So we will, if you've got a question about the grinding that Scott is showing us tonight, jump in. If you have some suggestions for other types of grinding, jump on board and let Dane know, and we'll do a demo with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What angle is your spindle gouge?
I like to keep it between 50 and 55. I find if it's 55, I can start my cut at the rim and take it all the way to the bottom. I know there's a lot of talk about a 40-40 grind, and I've never used one.
Let's back up. I said spindle gouge, not bowl gouge.
It's 50.
50 on your spindle gouge? Okay.
Yep. I have no problem with that. And it helps with me with my setups, because I don't have to keep changing my bear grind settings and things like that. So it works for me. I know a lot of people use spindle gouges with 45s and 40s. Now for my detail gouges, I'll put a sharper bevel on it. I'll go to like 40. Some of them are even 35. But I'll grab one of those in a moment. I'm going to finish up with this small bowl gouge. This has basically a traditional grind on it. Let me see if I can get view there.
There it is.
Yep. This does not have a swept back grind like most common bowl gouges. I like this kind for doing the bottom of bowls. That's what this kind of grind is really good at doing. It takes out tool marks and things. But when you're doing this one, you got to make sure you're not gonna, when you grind something like this with the pocket and the handle this far back, make sure you don't bring your tool below the center line of your wheel. Right here. That's the no-no line. Anything below that, it's going to pull that tool down. and really cause you a lot of problems. And if you got ceramic wheels, you can blow up your ceramic wheel just like nobody's business. So I'm just going to check the grind on this, see where I'm at. I need to back it up just the V grind down just a little bit back. And I don't see any light going through it. So this is just basically just twisting the tool back and forth. Just a couple of turns like this. And you're all done, ready to go. Easy peasy with this one.
And that grind, folks, is also called the bottom feeder.
Yes. Now this has a parabolic flute. It's made by Sorby. Most bottom feeders are U-shaped. The flute is more of a U-shape, like like I have this in this picture. A parabolic flute has a shape more like, has a more pointed in like that. And then you've got V grooves or V gouges that are even more, they're more of a straight up and down with a round bottom like that. Parabolic flutes, you got the best of both worlds, and they're easy, very easy to sharpen. But depending on the kind of bowls you're doing, I mean, a U-shaped gouge is great, but it's getting the cuts started at the rim. That's the most difficult part. If you can get past that, then they cut beautifully all the way to the bottom of a bowl. Some people use 3 different bowl gouges just to finish the bowl on the inside. They start with the Irish or side grind that's like 40 degrees. Then they get another one that's like 50 degrees, and then they finish with a bottom feeder gouge that has a 60-degree bevel on it. But I find with between 50 and 55, I can go from start to bit to the bottom with really hardly any problems. And that's what that's just my method. That's the way I like to do things. It's not set in stone or anything, but if you guys are interested in, trying different grinds and things, I would start with a 50 and see how you like it. I know a 40-40 it's got a learning curve to it. It's my understanding, and I'm too set in my ways to go chasing after something and starting from the beginning again with practice. So,
why change the grind that you turn with and you're happy with?
That's right.
Just learn how to improve the edge. My saying is, I don't want to be throwing it on the floor. Just like you say, I don't want to be throwing it. That CBN slices it off without heating it up.
Oh yeah, it's great. It doesn't heat up the tools like a CB or a ceramic wheel. You don't have to dress ceramic or these wheels like you do a ceramic wheel. Ceramic wheels, you're always having to clean and dress them, and they throw particles all over your shop that are not healthy for you. All you'll get is you'll get some metal powder off your tools with this, but with a combination of metal powder and that ceramic that comes off while you're cutting, because those wheels are made to break down while you are sharpening. So it's always has a fresh edge. It's just nasty stuff that you shouldn't be breathing in. If you're using a ceramic wheel, I recommend using a filter while you do it, at the very least, some sort of face mask filter. And always clean it up. You don't want all those particles from the ceramic wheels all over your shop or around your grinder or anything like that.
And don't blow it off with your air hose.
Let me add one other thing with the ceramic wheels. Make sure you have something over, if you're wearing glasses, make sure you put safety glasses over them because it will throw little small sand particles out there and scratch the hell out of your glasses.
Yeah.
Sounds like you know that from experience, Trey.
I read about it in a book.
You read about
I
it?
did too. I have the book that explains that.
Yeah. AEW's got a thread on it.
Hey, Scott, you
Yeah.
said you had a 600 grit on that you're using right now. What grit's on the other side?
180.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
One you shape with, one you sharpen with.
Right. This 180, you'll get a heck of an edge with this, but it does eat up the metal just like a ceramic will to a point. So I like to just use this for shaping. I just touching up my tools. I go to the 600 if I need to reshape something or maybe change the bevel on my detail gouge, make it a little sharper. I'll reshape it on the 180 and then I'll come back to the 600 and do the final sharpening. And it leaves what they call a nasty edge. So I'm going to pull this jig out in a second and show you guys, but I'm going to do a skew chisel real quick.
Can you flip your camera?
Yep. And I think I'm a little not far back enough. That should probably do it. I'm just testing how it's touching the bevel there. Another good thing about the CBN wheels is they don't shrink.
Yep.
When you use ceramic wheels, they do shrink.
So you're using the V-arm to sharpen your skew?
No, I'm going to show you what I'm using in a second here.
Okay.
There we go. Bring it up just a hair. It's a little touchy. I need to fix my lock on here is actually extra tight. If that could be a bad thing, but all right, there we go. So this is a skew chisel. And they have a little jig that goes into the V-arm here. I'm going to show you that, guys, in a minute. And it holds the tool at an angle. And all you have to do is set the bevel. You do one side. It's a little out, but, you know, hone it in a little while anyway. And you bring it out to the other side. And it's pretty much done. All I got to do is take my leather hone and I'll just swipe it a few times. It'll be razor sharp. So what the jig I used is, it's called Wolverine makes it. It's just called the skew jig. And it sits right down in the pocket. It's got a little tightening knob there. And it's the same concept. It's got pockets on both sides. One pocket for one side of the skew. You flip the skew over to make sure that this part is facing straight across your wheel. It's like this. And when you bring it to the other pocket, you just flip the tool over and do the same thing. It's pretty handy.
Yeah, I got that attachment, but I never got the hang of using it. I always found the platform.
Oh yeah,
easier.
yeah. Platforms are great. I'm going to go to that next. So I'm going to pull this V arm out and put a platform in. I use my platform for doing scrapers, roughing gouges, anything that has like a flat type of metal, just like the skew. Now just be careful when you slide this in. You don't want it to go into the CBN wheel or any wheel for that matter. Reason why I'm not actually turning off the grinder right now is because it takes like 4 minutes to wind down every time I do. And I don't want 4 minute gaps between each tool that I'm going to show you guys. So let me grab, where is it? I thought I had one out. All right, roughing gouge. I'm going to use this is just a small roughing gouge here. It's about, I think it's 1 inch. The way you want to do with this is you want to set the angle right with your platform here. So you just want to bring it up. And I ground these earlier, so it should be set just at the right angle there. And you need to have your tool flat. You don't want to raise your tool up or bring it up off the platform like this. You don't want it just flat like this. And a real simple, just turn like that. It's a couple of swipes and you should be able to be good to go. Oh yeah, that one's really sharp now. Same thing with the large ones. Here's my large one. This is 1 1/4 inch roughing gouge. Let's bring it up. And you just do it a twist. And right now, I have no idea. I know it's an angle I like, so I'm going to check the angle of my grind on here. It's fairly blunt, but it does a really good job of what I need it to do. So I'm just going to bring out my angle finder real quick.
I'm going to guess 45.
Okay. I'm thinking it's probably a little steeper than that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 70.
You are very close with that guess.
Yeah, it looks like my spindle roughing gouge.
It is, where are you? Yeah, it is, it's 70. Yep.
Can we see your gouge or your angle checker?
Here, I'll hold it to the side like.
How to use it.
See if I can get it in there, just like that. And it just adjusts back and forth.
Okay.
And it's got the degrees written on here.
I think what she's asking, she'd like to see how you measure the angle on it with the protractor.
Oh, okay. Let me get my face camera up. It's pretty easy. You just slide the big plate down inside your gouge. And you have this nice and loose right there. You got to slide this in and out somewhat to get to find that bevel. And you tighten it down. And there we go. Wow, I'm actually at 75. Now that's a steep angle.
Yep.
So my question, can you use your protractor to measure the angle that you have your tilt to the wheel?
Yes, as long as the grinder is off, yeah.
Well, later when the grinder's off, if you could show us how you do that, that would be great.
Sure. I just don't want to be sticking the metal up in there right now. So that's pretty much easy peasy right there with the roughing gouges. Just a good twist back and forth. So now what you want to do is maybe put a burr on a scraper. And the first thing I do when I do that is I use a diamond hone and take off that old burr. Some people say you can get away with putting a new burr on it 3-4 times before you have to do this. I don't. Because what happens is, see, you got the scraper here. And you're creating that little burr. Well, when you use it, it gets all messed up and choppy looking and wears out. But if you that's still got a little bit of remnant there. You know, it's all icky. So what happens if you bring your tool back to the grinder, but still that small tore up burr, is going to create another one right behind it. So you got 2 burrs and one is really bad shape. If you come back a 3rd time, same thing's going to happen. You're going to get another burr on there
Yeah, you just
And
keep
then,
pushing it real low.
and it's just gonna, the cuts from your scrapers are gonna be horrendous. So I got in the habit of just taking it's a 180 grit diamond card, just scrape it across the top of my tool, remove that burr, and then I'll come back in. All right, so I need to adjust my angle on my platform a little bit. So I'm just gonna loosen it up. Just a little bit there. And I'm just gonna eyeball it here and give it some more taps down. I slid my platform out away from the wheel so it doesn't actually slide into it by accident. I'm just eyeballing it a little bit. It needs a little bit more tap.
You
Without
change the
touch.
camera angle?
I'll check that in a second. All right, so that should be on there. So I'm gonna tighten my platform back down, slide the platform a little bit closer. And it's just a really you don't need to keep going back and forth to create a burr, because that's just gonna multiply the burrs. So just, let's see here.
There it is.
Just one really quick pass. That's all you need. And I can feel that burr on there.
That's putting a burr on the top?
Yeah. I've seen wood turners, they turn their scrapers upside down when they do this to put their burrs on. That's not necessary. In fact, it's kind of dangerous because you're bringing your tool in on a slope. It's not the smartest thing to be doing with these. Yeah, don't put your burrs on with your tool, with your platform on an angle down like this. It can be dangerous. Yeah, just one quick swipe and it's done. She's ready to go for another spin. And the same thing with the square type of scraper, but you just bring it in and should be the same angle there. And this one's just got a slight radius on it. And I just go take it. It's still out just a little bit. I'm gonna do the same thing, just gonna scrape that old burr off. It's worth it if you want a clean cut. And I just need to tap this down a little bit. And we're ready to go. And she's ready. Yep. Now this is a fun tool that I'm sure you guys might be interested in seeing. Yeah, Craft Supply sells them. Tracy Owen, I guess he's the one that created these, but it's a shear scraper for inside and outside bowls. Let's go to the overhead. There we go. Get that in there. Oop. It's got a nice angle on it. What I like about it, it's a piece of round bar. So you can see. So it slides across your tool rest really nice. You're not fighting a scraper, let's say.
No corners.
Yeah, no corners. It would be like, takes away, like say my skew was a shear scraper and I tilted it on the angle and tried to take it across my tool rest. And a lot of shear scrapers are made that way. A lot of, bringing it across tears up your tool rest in, you don't get a very nice shear cut. But with this, I can just bring it on an angle, but it sharpens pretty much the same way. But the thing is, I need to adjust it by tilting the tool into the wheel. You take that burr off. I probably already did. I'm gonna make sure. Craft Supply sells these, and I found them really nice to use. But to put the burr on this one, it's hard to get the angle just right on your platform. So because it's round, you can just twist the tool into the grinding wheel a little bit. And just bring it right across just like that. Even a tool that looks like it's a complicated tool to put a burr on, it's really not.
And you use that for what, Scott?
Shear scraping. On the side of bowls, I got two of them, one for the inside and one for the outside.
Left hand or right hand?
Yep. Yes, this one's for the, you can do that. This one's for the outside, depending on which direction you want to go.
Right.
And you can do this if you work its way out of the bowl with that. But I find with this one, what I like to do is I'll put my lathe in reverse with this one and start in the center and work towards the outside that way. I find it more comfortable than trying to bring this around with the handle. But this one, I just start here and just with the bowl going in reverse, and on the opposite side of the lathe, just bring it out. But you got to reverse your lathe. It won't work if you're going this. You got to reverse your lathe so the wood's spinning away from you, not towards you. That's the one thing you got to remember when it comes to that. And just same thing with a parting tool. I just use the platform. I'm going to change the angle a little bit here. Bring it up a little closer. I'll put my parting tool just on the edge of the platform right here and just touch it. Just bring it up to where I need it. And just my parting tool's getting a little short for this. But you can actually do this with the pocket. If you got the Wolverine pocket thing that moves in and out, you can do the same thing. But that, I think, about covers all my tools. If anybody's got any more questions, I'm looking around to see if there's an odd tool that I can show you guys. But I don't see any right off the bat. So
folks, are there any questions? Because I get a lot of direct messages about sharpening, along with putting on getting people to do sharpening demos. If you got a question, now is an opportune time to be able to ask and
yes, please do.
Get one, get a perspective, from someone different that's put on a demo on sharpening outside of the normal ones that have done so already.
I have to ask you to change back to your original pocket bar from your platform. Put your gouge bar back in, and then go to your overhead camera when you do that.
Sure. Let me get this platform put in there.
Folks, I'm not making fun of anybody's tools or any way you do it. I'm throwing a suggestion out there. So, all right, on the overhead camera.
There you go.
Right in the lower part of the screen. You see the little white line that he's got drawn across that tube?
Yep.
Now, if you're sharpening 4 different gouges and you're doing them all with a elliptical grind rig like the Wolverine has and Scott has used, you see how he's moving that thing in and out from point to point. And when he was setting up, he tapped on it to make it go in, tapped on it to make it come out, etc. What if, where it's sitting at right now, you took out your little pistol drill and drilled a 1/8 inch hole right through that tube on an angle from the flat side to the flat side, and you stuck a 4-penny nail in that hole? And that nail stayed with your lathe all the time. And every time you made a setting for your rough and gouge, for your bowl gouge, whatever, you'd have a hole that is in the right position where when you want to change, and I do that, I made a jig to do that with ours. You put that, you slide it in, tap it right to the point, tighten it down, and then you don't have to do any adjustments.
Very smart, Eddie. Yeah.
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 I call them AccuSets for our product, but I mean, it saves you from ever resetting. And I've got 4 or 5 different pocket bars made for the different lengths of tools, because I have a rough and gouge that's 5 inches longer than my other one. And that where that pocket fits is going to affect that angle. Same thing with your platform. When you move your platform in and out, you will change the angle that it addresses the stone or the wheel. It might be slight, but if I'm going to throw steel on the floor, I don't want it.
You want it as close as you can. That's right.
And I want it to be quick. If I want to turn around, drop it in the sleeve and a jig and make one pass, because folks, when you have it set up right, one pass is all it takes.
Sharpening depends on your wood.
There's I think it might be Woodcut. They came out with a sharpening jig. And it's sort of like what you're talking about, Eddie. It has but it has slots in the still of the pocket. And then up in this area, it's got what they call a guillotine. And it drops into those slots.
Yep.
So it keeps your tool, your pocket from moving in and out.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that system's called Kodiak.
Is it yeah, it's made by Woodcut, I think, though.
So Scott, I got a question, and I'm not sure if you deal with it or not, but got a question about sharpening hollowing tools, i.e. the Sorby Hollow Master. How do you sharpen those type of bits?
Like this one?
Yeah, I believe so. Gary, is that
what he's talking about?
Those are carbide.
Oh, he's talking about carbide. What, like easy wood tools? Is that
no? I think he's talking about that cutter and that gooseneck right there that you got in your hand.
Okay, yeah, this isn't carbide. This is high speed steel.
Yeah, right. Or cobalt. They use you can use both kinds.
Yeah, but it's not carbide, so it can be sharpened on CBN or ceramic wheels.
Okay, let me move my camera real quick. I'm gonna switch over to the face camera so I don't get you guys all dizzy by all this. If I can get this in there, I'm gonna move it over to my other wheel. Let me see if I got that in there.
A little to your right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so if you can see the side of this wheel, it's got a curve on it.
Yep.
So let me get my platform out. Now I don't even, they sell little holders for these things to save your fingers or whatnot. But what I like, lock that in there. Let me grab that big old tool here. And this is where this part comes in really nice. You guys can see what I'm doing there? Yeah. I just bring this, oh, I need to slide my tool rest back just a little bit. See, this is the part that I'm trying to avoid hitting my platform, is the holding part right there. So that curve part, you just bring it up like this, and you're done.
And you were riding on the flat so it won't twist.
That's right, on the flat side of this tool. And I just slide it across there just like that. And if you got one going the other way, you just use the other side of the wheel.
And there was
Pretty
a
easy,
180, that
Pretty
180
easy.
grit's gonna put a little shark teeth on that cutter, but you're hollowing with it, so.
Oh yeah, it'll leave a nice burr for hollowing. That's what you're looking for.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's a good method.
it's not overly aggressive. That's why I got a 180, because they do have like lower grits like 80, but man, those things will eat through the steel like crazy. But that's if you're like a production tool maker. So that's what Cindy Droza uses when she roughs her tools. You know, when she starts making them, she uses the 80, then she moves to 180. She's got a huge sharpening area in her shop. And then she moves to 350, I believe, and then 600. That's before she sends out her tools to her customers. But she uses the 80 just to get, you know, down into the rough bare of the wood or the tool of the metal to get the shape right. But 180, it'll leave one heck of a bevel as it is. It'll leave your tools nice and sharp. It'll put a nice burr on those little tiny tools.
Yeah, it's a good method. I made a little jig holder to hold mine.
Yeah, they sell those too.
Right.
But those are more for putting on the platform and then you can turn them. Yeah.
Yep.
But with these radius CBN wheels, you know, it's kind of obsolete. You could leave those little things right in your tools.
Right.
And just use that little radius right there, and it puts a nice burr right on them.
Yep, that's handy. So another question. Now that the grinder is coasting, to be able to use the protractor to identify the angle, I believe.
Oh, right. Okay. This thing's got to come to a stop. So I'm going to grab my block of maple here and just like let it coast to an end.
I'm glad you did that. If you put your hand up there, Jeff would have a fit.
Oh God, no. No. I would not stick my hand in there and try to stop a wheel. Never. Okay, so we already got it on this side, so I'll just leave it. Let's see. Okay.
All right, we call him Stubby then, right?
Yeah, we'll call him Stubby.
See if I can get my other wheel in here. Back it up, you out a little bit. There we go. See if I can remember how to do this. Give me a second to get this right. No. There's a way to do this, and I'm trying to remember. It's just got. I can't remember how it goes on the platform. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not going to steal any of your fire here, but Sue, you're asking how to get that set up and probably how to get it continuously.
Well, how do I do it now? Let me show you what I do now.
All right.
I have those Raptor sets. And each one's got a different degree on it.
I have the Raptors too, and I love them, but they only go down so far. And if I want a 20 degree, how am I going to measure that? And I have a protractor, but I don't know how to use the protractor to measure 20 degrees from the platform.
No.
I can help you out that a little bit, Sue, but I do it the backwoods way. I would get my platform to match that 20 degree or my jig to match that 20, and then I build my own AccuSet.
Yeah.
And just cut it out of a piece of plywood. And remember, you need to have a bump and a bump, not the complete curve. And then you can adjust it after you get it cut out by just pushing it into the wheel and removing a little bit of the material. And it's best if you make it out of Corian or Lexan, so it doesn't breathe or move.
Okay.
You know, that's one way to do it, Eddie. And if you want to buy something, then our friend Ron Brown makes a product. It's much like the Raptor, but the head on it adjusts. And he sells a plastic version and Peachtree sells a metal version.
Okay, you said our friend, Ron, be careful when you use that term friend with Ron Brown, okay? Because I had an awesome experience with one of his jigs today. We're good friends, Ron and Susan and I. I have a jig on my internet, my website, eddiecastellan.com. I have a jig that you can cut out of plastic. You can get plastic at Home Depot. That's the same way. You adjust it, you set it for what tool you want. You do that whole thing I explained. You put the pin in and boom, you're set.
Cool.
Okay.
And it's free.
This is what it looks like.
Where? Who's got it?
Yeah, who's got it? Who's got it? I want to see it.
All right. Say it again.
you, Billy?
Billy.
It's me.
There we go.
Is that too close?
Oh yeah, there you go. That's cool.
Nice.
What I did was I took my laser engraver and I engraved on each tool the number. It doesn't have an angle on here. It has a number, like it's set on 3.0 right now, and I think that's possibly my bowl gouge. And I've got it set on there, and when I pull it up to sharpen it says 3.0. So I set this to 3.0, drop it in the tray, and set the angle with the bottom tray he's talking about, and make sure that both of these are touching the wheel, and lock it down. So I get the exact same angle every time, and it's basically like having 5 of those little plastic pieces that he has.
No, it's like
but it's
having-
unlimited. The angle's unlimited. I mean, you can go as many increments as you want.
Yeah, I got to talk to Ron.
I can use about four different ones. You know.
Now
And you
before
can
you
set
get too
the angle of the
confused,
platform.
no,
You can set the angle of the platform with that.
Yeah, what you basically do is once you sharpen your tool the first time and the angle that you like, then you drop this in the tray and you adjust this to where it's on the wheel without it running, and that's your number.
We're talking about two different things. You're talking about the slide in and out tray. He's talking about the platform.
Right.
For
He's
doing
talking about
flat
setting
tools.
the angle on the platform.
Gosh,
not
I'm
on the-
sorry. I'm sorry.
That's
I thought that was the question.
No, I
I
know
gotta
Stuart Batty makes a set of gauges that to allow you to set the platform angle. I have a whole bunch of different angle settings on each one of them.
Yeah, I've got that set.
I think there's a Raptor set that do the same thing.
Yep.
well, the Raptor only goes down to like 30 degrees.
But the Raptor is one angle per thing. The one
Exactly.
that Stuart Batty's has, I think there's 8 angles on each one of his things, and he has 3 different sets. So he's got 24 different angles on his.
Right.
And that's
I think you
Stuart,
can put your protractor on here and measure the angle from the flat side here to the flat side here. That's going to be your angle.
Once you get the angle that you want, you can take a small piece of steel, a little steel flat bar, and push into your wheel and sharpen it to that angle on your wheel, and always be able to go back to it to set it, just like the Stuart Batty one would be. It's just that little small thing, and just push it into your wheel to align your wheel each time.
Just
Okay.
make sure if you got CBM wheels, use high-speed steel to do that.
Yeah, you should use high-speed steel to do it. I will agree with you on that. Don't use
Yeah.
aluminum.
No, aluminum or copper
No.
will just it'll ruin your CBM wheels pretty much.
Yes.
okay.
Don't try to sharpen
Any
carbide.
soft metals will ruin it.
We need more tips and hints. That's good technique that you gave us tonight, Scott. We have to start assembling some tips and hints for the bargain basement guys, or those of us who really refuse to pay for something that we can build.
Well, that'd be great. I would love to see, homemade jigs and stuff for sharpening. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, let's solicit them. And remember, folks, if you say you got something, we have a guy named Dane, and he will hunt you down and sign you up for a demonstration.
Yeah, definitely.
I will. And I do communicate, don't I, Scott?
Oh, yeah, he does. He certainly does. No problem there.
One more
So does
side
anybody
note.
else
when
have
you-
any questions?
Well, I'm going to give a suggestion. Scott, you were showing that when you are setting up and you're pushing your tool in to see if you get right grinding position. For novice turners, paint that edge with a Marks-a-Lot and turn that wheel backwards when you want to get that mark. Remember, forward or backwards, it's going to cut the same way. But if you spin it backwards by hand, it will remove just a little bitty bit of the material. And what you'll see is where it erases the Marks-a-Lot. And that's, or a Sharpie or whatever. And it helps
I
you
like
with
to
setting up.
I like to use these kind of markers for these boards. They work great for that.
They dry out too fast. I'm cheap.
You can buy many for the same price.
That's right. So, all right. Thank
I'm
you,
still
Scott.
using markers from the
You're
Air
welcome.
Force.
Excellent demonstration tonight, Scott.
All
Thank
right.
you so
Thanks,
much, sir.
guys.
All right. It
Thanks,
looks
Scott.
like
I
he's ready
appreciate
for I
Yep.
think he's ready for a sequel. Yeah, I think that, Dan. You know, he might be ready for a sequel. Yeah.
Yeah, sometime in
Well-
February, we get a repeat.
All right. We don't want to mess around and let him get away. All
No,
right.
no.
All
Well,
right,
you know what I
folks.
can do, if you guys want, I showed you how to do all the bowl grinds and stuff. I could do a bowl basics wood turning and show you how those grinds work.
That'd be nice.
Making a
We
bowl.
welcome that.
All right.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
welcome
Let's do that, Scott. We'll get something lined up here.
All right. Sounds good.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Scott.
thank you.
Another
Yep.
member helping members. That's what we're here for, folks. And if you've got a program or an idea, a suggestion, or whatever, it's open to you. There's no click. There's no gang. There's no board. There's no money. There's nothing here except you, the wood turner, and we get together to do this. Coming up soon, we have Paul Hannaby, Dean Grimes, not tonight. Paul Hannaby, because they'll both go, Paul Hannaby, Dean Grimes, Billy Dillett, Bob Moffett, and Dane Chandler. You see, he wasn't looking. We signed him up.
Yeah, I
they're
know.
all coming up
I'm
for
trying to
future
figure out how I
demos.
got slid in there.
Hey, you send around an email that can be edited, and that's what happens. But Scott did a good demo for us tonight. Folks, if you wonder if you got skipped on gallery, we fit the gallery in around the demonstrations, and we try not to miss anybody. But again, like I normally tell you is, if you've got a piece that you've turned, just like Brent showed us his prototype of his Christmas tree, and he's going to really sharpen that up, trust me. We want a photograph for our newsletter and our website. And all you have to do is email it to our to our email address, worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. No magic. Send us a photograph. We'll use it. And I do a gallery each week. And before we get into doing tonight's a continuation of our large gallery, which is all you people across the world, I want to go to the gallery that we produced this week. And this is your work. It's not been selected. It's not been called anything else. And if you send me more photographs about how it was created, we will use that. But here's this week's gallery. There you have the gallery for tonight. Now, you notice that Dane sent 5 or 6 photographs of that piece because there were 5 or 6 views of it that will help you if you wish to go down that style or recreate the type of piece and the detail work that goes into it. That's why we want that from you. We want the input you have to help other turners with their thought processes, their designs, where this goes, where that goes, etc., what blends and what doesn't blend. I don't think there's a book on it, but there is a book on wood turning. Somebody said earlier, what is the rule about the sharpening the stuff? I didn't find that rule in the book, but I did find one. It's number 747A. Write that down, 747A. It says the inside diameter shall never exceed the outside diameter. And we saw a bowl tonight where that a plate tonight where that happened. The inside diameter exceeded the outside diameter. So if you're turning, remember that's rule 747A. Make note of it because if you don't abide by that, you get to join the funnel club. And it's just so we can all be turning and be turning safely. All right. I had a couple other things. I got to mention what Scott showed us earlier with that plug of wood with a hole in it for doing your depth on your gouges is a great idea because the wood's not harder than the tool, and you won't dull your tool a little bit more by putting into a steel sleeve or a bracket or a bolt or whatever. I have one made out of Corian. It won't change shape and do it because that 2-inch offset up is critical. Now, if you have a 6-inch grinding wheel, see, he's using an 8-inch, and Portacable and Delta both make an 8-inch variable speed grinder available at the big box stores. But they come with crummy wheels for sharpening a lawnmower or something. You'll have to step up to that, to a CBN. But if you use a Corian block to do that and you get that setting, I like most of my tools at 2 inches. I've got a couple of that I have up to 2.5 inches, which backs them up or changes the angle of the cut a little bit. So if you need to adjust the distance out of your tool rather than your basket, you can do so. And if you got a 6-inch wheel, you may need to play with that. The 247 rule by David Ellsworth or exhibit 247, those are guideline numbers. If you can't get there, you don't need to be there. And if you don't understand the 247, on my website, eddiecastellan.com, I have got David Ellsworth's sheet, and I have his name on it saying it's okay to copy, that explains sharpening an Ellsworth grind. And if you want to see the sketches Scott had, they're on that sheet about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So check it out. It's all there. Let's go back to gallery tonight. This is membership gallery. If you've got something to show, you have to put it in the chat and say, Dane, I have something to show. Scott said, did you get the piece wasn't in the gallery? Scott, if you sent it after last night at 6 o'clock, it's not in the gallery, but I think you're in the bullpen for next week. Now, if you send it before that and I don't have it, send it again. There's no time limit. We just want to use it one time. Who we got, Dane?
Well, I'm looking for John Skefko. I don't see
John.
him now.
John, you
are
got to
there?
talk.
Hello, John.
John, talk to us.
Well,
can't
we'll try
find you
coming
in the
back to
bullpen.
him then. Let's go to Billy. Hey, Billy.
That looks like
Howdy,
Billy Burt.
howdy. Hi, folks. I was asked to show this tonight, so I'm going to show it tonight.
All right.
I'm got to turn my computer to do
Good
so.
reason. Oh, yeah.
Get that a little bit closer. Okay, this doesn't really look like a turning, I don't guess, does it? But I've actually done quite a bit of turning on here. I turned the mushroom cap. This was a piece of spalted oak. I turned it relatively roughly because I knew what I was going to do with it. And then I power ground it as well. And while I was turning it, let me turn this light off for a minute. While I was turning it, I flipped it around. I left a tenon on this side and I turned it around and I hollowed the inside so I could make it lighter. And then I took this little piece of 1/8 inch plywood to my scroll saw and scrolled it out just so I'd have something to screw the alignment pieces on and the light. And while I was at it, after I got that done, I took this piece of ash juniper and threw it up between centers and started shaping it to basically the shape that I wanted for the mushroom stalk to become the house. Once I got that shaped, I took it to my drill press and clamped it down and hollowed it out with Forstner bits and other things, and cut the hole for the doorway, and I cut a hole for the window as well. So that's 2 pieces turned. The rest of it, or a lot of the other, there's one more turned piece on it. But these pieces were scrolled. The transom was, after I scrolled it, I filled it with 3 different colors of resin. The light's not bright enough bouncing back off of the floor to show that, but unfortunately, but you can kind of see the colors, the purple and the blues and the red. I also poured a resin floor on the inside, colored it green. I made a cobblestone pathway that I picked up rocks from outside my shop and glued down with the resin. So I scrolled these out and I did some pyrography on them for character. I also scrolled these out. I found this wasn't really a pattern. It was a line drawing for a fairy house door that I found on Google, and I borrowed it. And so I scrolled it out and glued rhinestones for the holly berries. I made these door pulls out of wire that I soldered up, and the doors do open and close. And I decorated it. Pardon?
How'd you do the ladybug?
Actually, my wife bought those ladybugs at Hobby Lobby.
Oh.
She bought the 2 fairies at Hobby Lobby as well. The flowers she had and some old stuff that my mom had. I bought the moss kit where all of this greenery came from Hobby Lobby as well. Hobby Lobby had a fairy house window that I really liked, but I didn't want to buy it. It was metal. And so I took a picture of it, printed it, and scrolled it out and put a piece of green and blue resin in the back to make it look kind of like a picture window. I mean, a stained glass.
Yeah, it looks good.
And I decided this little fairy house needed a swing. Originally, I was going to put just a simple plank swing up. And I thought, no, I don't want to do that. I want to use a tire swing. So I found this piece of ash that looked about right, and I chucked it up and I turned it on the lathe, including the tire treads.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can tell it in the light, but I even cut the bead. The tire on both sides has a perfect radius of a tire, and the bead where it would mount on a wheel on the same side. So I cut one side, I smoothed this the way I want it. I cut the tire treads in, and then I parted it off after I drilled this out with a Forstner bit. And once I got that done, I cut a jam chuck on that same piece of ash, and I turned it over and I stuck it on here, and I finished doing the outside. And so that's.
Now you did do the lettering on the side of it too, right?
No, Trey, I did not do the lettering on the side.
They have to be white. Those letters have to be white.
Yeah, they raised. Yeah, raised letters.
No, I'm talking about the PSI rating.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't do that. A lot of pyrography in this thing. Like I said, I don't know if you noticed the every one of these was wood burned. Every one of the ribs or veins underneath this mushroom cap were wood burned. And that took me nearly all day. And then I went over them because they weren't, I'm using a cheap Weller $17 pyro pen, and it wasn't doing a great job. But after I got it, all the veins burnt in, then I dyed this with super black Speedball India ink.
That's
Very
beautiful,
nice.
Billy.
Thank
That is
you.
one.
Yeah, I
beautiful
did
piece
this.
of work.
This was I did this for a challenge or a contest that's hosted by harneilmedia.com and livingbeyonddisabilities.com. But I did it just because I wanted the challenge to see if I could do it. The one thing I am going to change on this is I was worried that these were ceramic. They are not. They're some kind of a resin. So the one thing I'm going to change is I'm going to cut these humps off the bottoms of the ferries, probably on my scroll saw, and then I will epoxy these ferries in place. So that gives them more of a natural look. So they're not sitting on that funky looking hump. But that's it.
Awesome.
Very beautiful work.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Great job, Billy.
I love it,
Nice
Bill.
job, Billy. It was nice watching your progress on Facebook.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, it
Awesome.
was. Yeah, I started this in September, I think.
Yeah, you've been working on it for a while.
Yeah, it's labor of love, but I love a challenge. I love to see if I can I'm a woodworker. My preference is turning. I love turning, whether it be segmented stuff or solid stuff, but I'm also a woodworker, have been for 40 years. And I just, so I like doing new things every now and then.
Right. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm enamored with turning, but I did flat work for years. Yep.
What do you think about adding a little tiny gnome, a little 1-inch, half-inch gnome on the grass somewhere?
That's probably a good idea, Trey.
How about a squirrel?
The squirrel would be a little large.
No, not a real one.
if I got one that was to scale,
right.
But a gnome is something you can turn, and you could turn a little gnome in there and add him in there.
That's true. And I happen to have the fur for the gnome beards. I've already bought that because I intended on turning a couple of larger gnomes.
All you gotta do is clip a few hairs out of yours.
Yeah. Right.
Billy's been growing that since the day he retired, right, Billy?
Actually, no, I've had this for because I was, as a DoD civilian, I could keep it. I've had my beard in one form or another for, oh gracious, since 1990.
Wow. Yeah, it's about like me since I got out of active duty in 95. I've had a beard one form or another. Yep.
I'm too lazy to shave. Actually, I use it to hide my 4 chins.
I shaved mine once about 20 years ago, walked back in. The wife looked up and all she said was, grow it back.
Yeah, mine likes mine. She doesn't like me without one. But thanks, everybody.
Beautiful.
Thanks for sharing, Billy.
Thank you.
Dane, somebody else in the bullpen tonight?
Yes, we do. Let's go to Joaquin. Actually, let me see if John's back in. John, are you back in? No, I guess not. Okay, Joaquin, we're gonna go to you, buddy. Go ahead and start talking.
I'm doing a Christmas show on Saturday, so I've been working real hard to get some pieces done. Let me see if I can flip this camera around. Yeah, there we go. So there's a little cherry hollow form.
Oh, I like that.
This was fun.
Oh my.
And, I actually bought a can of Deft lacquer to finish this piece. I don't usually use sprays, but I really like what it did. This is this was supposed to be its mate, so I left the bark on the bottom, but this one ended up, because of this eye, it ended up being much smaller. So they don't go together. Originally, they were supposed to be a pair, but this was a fun little piece of walnut. Finished this yesterday. That's a 12-inch walnut platter.
What kind of finish do you use on those?
On this or these?
On both of them.
Okay, well, these both are deft lacquer, and then I took them to the 3-wheel system and buffed them. So I can't see. You can see a little bit of the orange skin from the lacquer, which I kind of like. And then the carnauba wax really kind of made it shine. This, I sanded to 400, used Brad's workbench, abrasive paste, and then it's got 3 coats of Opie Shine Juice and then Brad's tongue wax over the top. And this is like a headlight. If I get the angle just right, it'll blind you.
It's really pretty looking.
Thank you. This is a cherry sphere on persimmon, and that really worm damaged persimmon. That was. I made myself a little spear holding jig for the headstock and tailstock. That was interesting. I made it out of poplar first, and they split, so I had to make them out of maple so they'd hold together.
DC an animal.
This piece of walnut surprised me.
Oh my.
I could see that from the outside as I was turning it. What I didn't realize was at this angle, there was a void all the way to there. So I started turning it and hollowing it, and all of a sudden there was nothing there. But that was just a fun piece. That was fun to turn. And there's that fruit. That's red oak. Don't ever turn oak and grain. Just don't do it. It's evil. It's horrible. I almost didn't survive.
I do it all the time.
I almost didn't survive. I got to use my new, I got a termite, and on the corners of the bottom, the termite was really useful down in that bottom corner.
It's a great tool if you practice and learn how to use it. It's a great tool.
Yeah, I hollowed that box with it too, and it's a learning curve, but I'm getting there. This is pecan, and I think that's pecan as well. This is just some of the pieces, and then that mess. Don't get me started on ornaments. Oh, and I used a pyrography pen for the first time this evening, actually during the beginning of the meeting. That's a custom order, and I don't know why the picture's reversed, but that's the runes, Nordic runes for the letter C and the letter Y. It's for a
looks nice
wedding gift. And I hadn't made a cigar pen before. That's not a bad kit.
Very nice.
That's what mine would look like if I even tried to write my name, because I'm horrible.
So hey, Joaquin, there's a question in the group asking how you price your bowls.
Width by height times 2.5 plus cost of wood. And then when it's something brutal like that oak bowl, well, with that formula, that oak bowl prices out at about $170. So I added another 30 to it. That's a $200 bowl because it almost broke me. That bowl nearly killed me.
Yeah, that's very similar to the formula I use. I use 3 instead of 2.5 though.
Okay, yeah, that's the formula. Sam Angelo uses that formula. That's where I got that, was from Sam Angelo. So
thank you, Joaquin. Appreciate the input
Thank
tonight.
you.
Beautiful work, some beautiful work we're seeing here. And Joaquin showed you some things that are difficult. And we talked about tools that he can use. Those are not mandatory tools, but they make work a whole lot easier and it's sometimes very safe. So if you want to change up, go ahead, but it's not gotta be that way. All right, who else we have in the bullpen tonight, Dane?
Well, we got Stephen on deck now. Hey, Stephen.
Hi, how we doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. You must be sleepy.
I I was at another Zoom meeting before I logged on. I had a question a couple weeks ago about finishing for a high luster. I have this really pretty piece of spalted maple that I wanted to get high shine to it.
That's nice. A lot of grain.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that is lovely.
It's got a lot
Love
of,
it.
Yeah, it's got character.
It's great looking, man.
Yes.
Yeah, but it came out crooked, Steve. Send it to me, I can fix it. Beautiful.
it had a lot of cracks in it. I had to fix with CA glue and sawdust. It just the more I turned it, the more cracks developed. So it took me about a week or more to actually turn the ball.
We
And
did good at it because we don't see the cracks. So you did quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
I see a dolphin.
Oh,
a dolphin
Yeah, right there.
here.
That's yes. Nope. Right there.
Below it.
Yeah, right below it.
There we go.
He's facing you.
Yep.
Yeah, there. Yeah.
Yep.
okay, y'all do know y'all. Oh, no.
See what's in it on the
It's all,
inside. I
it's
like
all
it.
right, Captain. Just they'll be okay.
I'm trying to, Dean. I'm trying.
You probably
Yeah, I
can't
do.
see it too well, but there's some chatoyance on the side grain on both sides. It's just it's a little difficult to see.
Oh, that means good finishing. Really, you only get that if you do good finishing.
Yep.
And what finish?
Beautiful ball.
What finish did you put on it?
The shine juice, OB shine juice, and then Axe polish and with sanding, and then the polish paste.
I seen a bear on the inside.
Oh boy.
A bear. You didn't see the bear? Oh, and there's a mouse.
I
We
love
have
the
a
character of
psychiatrist in
spalted
the
wood.
house.
Brenda, I take 3 prescriptions not to see that.
Gotta get her a Rorschach test.
And I see a shrink every week. So we have to talk about this.
So being new to turning, I wasn't sure how to mount this. I originally mounted it with a mortise, but then last week I think Cade said it's better to have it with a tenon. So I turned down the mortise and put a tenon on it. It made the ball a little smaller, but it probably would have cracked, I think, if I had expanded it with all those cracks that were developing. So
Okay, listen, Steve, we're not going to ask for a vote on that because we're not going to get an even number. Half are going to say that depression is good, and the other half is going to say the tendon's good. And you know,
some
half
of us are
those
going to
folks
say it
wrong.
depends.
Yeah. Most
so
of those folks are
I
wrong.
wasn't sure what to do. I didn't want it to blow up on me, so I took the mortise out and put a tendon on it.
If you're not sure, crushing is better than exploding. My
That's what I
opinion.
thought. That's what I thought. Well, there it is. I'm real happy with the beauty of the piece of work, and I'm real happy that I didn't mess it up.
I love it.
I think it came out
It's
gorgeous.
great.
Love it.
Yeah, it looks
Hey,
great.
my offer to fix that crooked edge stands. Thank you, Stephen. Beautiful.
I'll consider that, Ken.
All right.
I love
Beautiful
crooked
work
edge.
tonight. All right, who we got in the bullpen, Dane?
No one. Let me look for John again. John, are you out there?
I don't see him on the lineup.
He must have went to bed.
Okay. And I see
I've
a
got
lot of
something that-
comments in the chat tonight, folks. If you got something to share, chat is where you share it. Now you come on live and talk to us in the club, but if you got details about something like an IRD that's scheduled or a program or something you want to see, there's some great stuff out there that's not pay-per-view, but we'll take any of it. It can go in chat. That's where it's there for. Also, chat is there for us to build our contact list. Now, it's not a membership list and it's not mandatory. And I'll say that over and over again. If you wish to participate and be included in our contact list, which is available through our website with some restrictions, then send us the information via chat. Now, if you're watching the repeat of this program and a later version of it, you can't do chat, but you just email the same information directly to our website. And our webmaster, David Rose, will put it in on our package. Now, let me tell you what David does. He takes the information on chat, he removes it, and he puts it on a list. And it's your name, your address, your phone number, your website, your email address, whatever you wish to put in that little space. There's no guidelines, there's no limits. It's a space on the sheet. David takes the information and does just that, develops that sheet. Then he excludes it from the chat and posts the balance of the chat on our website. So if you say, well, I'm looking for a contact for Sue or Dane or Brenda or one of these folks, and I just go to chat and look it up, it's not there anymore. But if you want one on our website, contact, right there's a little block. You fill the block out, the password's Captain, but everything else is self-explanatory on the block, and it must be filled out completely and exactly the way it's laid out. And you uncheck the block, and poof, you'll get the email with the contact sheet on it. And we do that to keep the bots from attacking our site and sending you more emails about how you can save money on your car insurance, your home warranty, my school tuition, all the other stuff. I mean, these people are looking to give me money. I just don't get time to get back to them.
Right. Hey, Eddie, Gary's got a question he wants to ask. Gary, what's
up,
up?
Gary?
Yes, sir. I made those rolling pins. I've made a couple of them, and I have a problem with oak. All of my other woods are just great. When I finish the rolling pin, I can feel by running my hand around it that the oak has expanded maybe just a tad more. And it doesn't show. I can feel it with my hand, but it doesn't show. But is this just a problem with oak, that it expands more than anybody else? Or any ideas on how to correct that? I can't really put it back in and sand it.
My Nicholsworth says that the wood is still moving due to humidity changes within the wood. And oak may have, and I'm not certain, but oak may have a different configuration of the molecule tracks that go through lumber that carry out the moisture or hold in the moisture. And when you start slicing those, you'll get a different effect. And if you slice it off tomorrow, the drying of the wood or the material moving changes the texture of that. I have turned an oak burl, and the next day looked like I didn't sand it. It swole up with a completely beautiful irregularity. In fact, it sold for a pretty good $1 because of the moisture changes. And I got that from a tree doctor.
I've found also that red oak and white oaks, especially oaks like live oak, move very differently.
Yep.
Yes.
And they're also open grain, and they wouldn't be for making rolling pins or being a food related utensil. They're gonna capture food particles, and that would probably be something you should avoid as well.
I hadn't thought of that. That's a good point.
But
Hadn't
it's
thought
an
of it.
open grain. So think about a stack of straws.
Yeah.
And you're slicing it and you cut that off. That's what you're looking at inside your wood grain. So it's going to be constantly moving, and there's no way to seal up those tubulars all the way down.
Yeah, that's a
I
great
have
explanation of the straws.
I have end grain for that. They're better on knives than cross grain, but I have end grain cutting boards that I made out of oak that are doing fantastic. And I've done some research, and wood is very naturally antibiotic.
Lots of takes on it, but yeah.
Okay, so basically,
I've read the same thing on wood cutting boards. Actually, you know, they thought they were going to be dirty and everything, but the antibacterial properties of the wood helps to keep them a lot cleaner than people think.
I was asked to prove that to somebody one day by using a black light to show that there was no contamination on the cutting board, and we don't wash ours with soap, just water. We wash them off.
Yeah,
and I keep them oiled every few months. But I put them under a black light, and I put a plastic one under a black light. There was spots all over the plastic when it'd been through the dishwasher. There was nothing on any of my wood cutting boards, nothing.
Right. I believe it's the University of Minnesota did a huge scientific study on that and proved that very point.
That's good to know.
okay, so basically I'm hearing don't use oak in the rolling pins.
Well, no,
I would try to
think what
avoid
we're hearing is that there's a natural occurring antibiotic taking place within the wood, and
I wouldn't
proved
have
this.
a problem using oak in a rolling pin.
I wouldn't either.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Gary.
We use it in cutting boards, and I'll be able to use it in a rolling pin.
Yeah.
You know, I found the biggest danger in cutting boards is folks that believe you have to put a finish on them.
Yes.
Oil is the finish.
Yep.
And
all I use is mineral oil.
All right. And when you give somebody a cutting board, you got to give them a stick so you can whack them on the back of the head if they put it in the dishwasher or wash it with soap. That should be the rule. They're a wooden board. They don't like the heat of a dishwasher. The chemicals were terrible on the material. And Billy, you were talking about it being food safe. Once you do that dishwasher, you have to wait for the bacteria in the cleaning agent to come back out of the wood before you'll be safe again. So it goes backwards from what you think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, never, ever put a wooden utensil of any kind in a dishwasher.
Right.
And that's sort of like washing a frying pan. You don't wash a frying pan, you wipe it out because you want that flavor. So,
well, not only that, you'll wash out all of the conditioning.
Right.
Yeah. You've got to season. You've got to season it with oil. If you run a frying pan through the dishwasher, use a hot, heavy detergent on it. Nope.
You lost it.
Start over.
Yep.
So, and wood finishing can be the same way, folks. It can be. All right, we've got about 26 minutes left till the top of the hour, and that's when we normally pull the plug. I see a couple of folks in the bullpen that have some things to show tonight, and we have some events lined up that are in the chat tonight. So, Dane, where are we going? We're going back up to Doug.
We're going back to Doug. He's got a nip tick.
Yeah, we were talking about that Norfolk Island pine a while ago, and it's beautiful wood. It turns great. When I first got started, I was real curious. I was seeing a lot of work from Ron Kent with all his translucent stuff, primarily Norfolk Island pine. And I was just bold enough. I sent him an email on it, and he was very gracious, very kind. We spent hours on email back and forth. His whole thing was submerging those. He said any light wood would do it. Turn them down thin, something like 1/8 of an inch or even less, and then submerge it into he suggested tongue oil. He would drop it in there, weight it down, let it sit for an hour or two, bring it out and put it on a wire rack over the vat that his oil was in, and then just let it drip dry for 30 minutes. Then he'd take a paper towel or a rag or whatever, wipe that all off, all the excess that was still on there, then let it dry for 24 hours. Then he'd start that whole process again. And his whole thing was that submerging and drying multiple times cause that wood to be really translucent. And so I've done it several times. It works wonderfully. It's kind of like using tongue oil as a finish on anything else. It's a labor of love because it takes several days. I mean, you need to do this 5-6 times at least. So there's 5 or 6 days. But that submerging, let it drip dry for half an hour, and then wipe off what's excess on the surface does a phenomenal job.
It does. If you want gold, you got to dig for it. Same thing with that tongue oil finish.
Yep.
Thank you, Doug. All right.
Hey, you're
more information coming in tonight, folks. And if you got to share something, let us know. We're doing gallery again. We always do gallery. Dane's handling it. I think Neil's got something to show us tonight.
Neil's up.
Yes, hi everyone. I had a neighbor that asked me to turn some bowls for her, and she has a dollhouse. So this is what I turned.
Ooh.
Oh my.
Hollow form.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, Brenda, pay attention
That's
to this.
gorgeous.
Wow.
Those are cute.
That's awesome.
And
Goodness.
then to go along with today's demo, I purchased some ceramic wheels from Wood Turner's Wonders. I haven't used them yet. I don't know if anyone has any experience with them. They were $5 for the 2 wheels plus shipping.
Those are the ones probably come off the Rikon grinders, and I've been using a set for years.
Yeah, I've got a set of the white one is the one that I do my touch-ups on my gouges, because they get an awesome smooth edge.
Mhm.
So you say that you think they're good?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're good. Now you
Very
can't
good.
rough in, my opinion, you can't rough in with them.
Yes.
But you need to set it up and make that one pass with your jig, and you'll get an edge that's like a knife.
Wow.
It's a
Yeah, they're
polishing honey.
much better wheels than the aluminum oxide.
Yeah.
Great to know.
And don't sharpen your lawnmower with them. That'll just mess it up.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Thank you, Neil. Great seeing you
Thank you.
tonight.
All right, Glenn, you're up.
Looks like Glenn. Hey, Glenn.
How are y'all doing today?
All right.
Good,
How are
good.
you?
I'm doing great. I've been doing a bunch of turning this year, a bunch of Christmas trees for gifts. This one's out of a piece of juniper branch, and I turned this one
Very
here.
nice. It's got some
Then
good
I
color.
did
Yeah, very nice colors.
Then I did a number of them. These are out of mesquite,
Oh my goodness.
and these I would center this end up, and this end, then you put it in off center. That way you're turning on this side, and you're not turning anything on here, and that way then you're leaving the bark
Your
on,
natural edge.
on one side.
Very
Yes.
nice. Oh, I
But
see
that-
a cross on top.
And then had another one also, and I put spray lacquer on these,
Pretty.
and I've probably done about 20 or 25 of them. Are going to be Christmas gifts this year.
I like
And
that
then
underscore. I like the under swoop or the over swoop on the branches. That's a nifty detail.
Yes. I like that part. Yeah, it makes it pretty good, look pretty neat. And then I try to leave as much of the natural edge as I could on it.
Did you make
That
that
part
sweep
looks
with a,
super thin.
did you make that sweep with a fingernail gouge?
Yes.
Okay.
And then,
Nice job, Glenn.
thanks. Then I also have
Oh my.
This is a few years ago. I dug up one of my rose bushes, and I have this drying for a few years, and I decided I wanted to do something with it. So I turned it. This lower part is part of the roots, and this section was the section that was above ground, and it's turned on two different axes. This section here, I drilled a hole in the center of it, in the bottom, and then drilled a hole in the middle of the base, and then I was able to turn the bottom section, and then I had to figure out how far off centered this part was, so I had to drill another hole, and then I moved it over, and I epoxied it to the base, and then I was able to turn the inside.
Very nice.
And
wow.
And then the base, I ended up having some epoxy on the top, so I decided to, instead of leaving it plain, I just went ahead and textured it with a Dremel tool, and then along here where a lot of the roots were, so I had
ooh, wow.
all the grooves and cracks. I filled it with coffee grounds and CA glue, and that has always worked pretty good on different items. And the base is walnut. It was from a rose bush, so I guess it's rosewood.
Yeah, yeah,
and
qualifies, right?
Yes.
Was that rose root real hard to turn, or was it soft?
No, it was fairly soft. This in here with all the voids, and it was real thin. I had to really take light cuts, and then it started flexing quite a bit, so I just stopped where I was at. But
cool.
But it was something.
work, Glenn.
Thank you.
Yep,
Very
nice
nice.
job.
Very nice.
Thanks. That's all I have.
All right, thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
All right, Dino.
All righty. Yeah, we were talking about oil finishes on wood earlier, and some of you may be wondering whether or not those hold up very well. So I just grabbed my dinner plate real quick. I've been eating off this thing for 3 years. And believe it or not, I wash it every day. And I just take a little Dawn dishwashing detergent and some water. I've got about a 2x3 inch piece of the green Scotch Brite that I use to wash it with. And it has been re-oiled once in 3 years.
What kind of oil are you using, Dean?
It's just walnut oil.
And I would.
And I put it on, I let it set and soak in real good. I wipe it off and let that set for a day, and then I repeat that, and that's it. That's what I do on all my bowls that are going to be used for food or salads, and what I do on all my plates. So
that's nice.
you can look at it. It is not dried out.
Okay. I like that shape with that lip on the inside and all. Dane, do you know how to turn something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, you missed the point there, Dane.
Dean,
Dane.
Dean, I'm sorry, I missed what finish you put on it. What finish?
I'm sorry, Trey. I
What?
was guarding my left there. I could see something coming from my blind side. It's walnut oil.
In
Walnut
February.
oil, okay, okay,
February,
cool.
Dean.
I've been afraid to use walnut oil because my daughter has a horrible walnut allergy. I mean, she carries an EpiPen because of it.
Well, I've got a grandson that's the same way, and he has not had any kind of reaction to the walnut oil.
Are you using Mahoney's?
Yeah.
I've heard his has been treated so that doesn't happen. I don't know. But like I said, I'm just too scared to try it.
There's a lot of research you can do on walnut oil, and basically it either comes from the meat of the nut or it comes from the shells and the leaves of the trees. And there's two different processes to separate all of the junk from the oil. And one of them involves chemicals. And then to get all those chemicals separated, they use heat. And that's the process that Mahoney's goes through to be able to get it purified. And that's where the heat process comes through.
It actually has his pasteurized, just like a milk or anything else. It gets rid of all the proteins that would cause allergies.
Exactly.
Yeah. I contacted Mahoney about it because somebody raked me over the coals about it with the same kind of issues that you're talking about, Billy. And he said no one that has come in contact with his oil has ever had any kind of allergic reaction, but he has not had it tested in a laboratory. He hadn't paid the money to have it done. So he can't say it is hypoallergenic. He can't do it.
Right.
And he won't.
Yeah, and you know, it's, if you look at the industry overall, you basically got two processes. And if it's done on that where it's heated, it's pretty universal that everybody says it's killed those proteins that cause the reaction.
Guess
Let
the
me
big
ask you-
sticker is the FDA. I don't think the FDA approves any of that though, right?
No.
The FDA is not going to approve that for consumption. And you got to remember the FDA, if they're approving it for consumption.
In which that could be something that would be consumed.
Well, yeah, sort of.
All right.
Pure tongue oil is
I
also
just know the
food safe,
FDA
by the way.
stays away from the wood finishing products on buying off on whether anything is food safe.
Yeah, Dane, the only one that I know of that is pure tongue oil. I'm not
Right.
talking about it. It can't say tongue oil finish.
Right.
It
Yeah,
has to
pure
be
stuff.
pure tongue oil. And yeah, it takes forever to dry and do multiple coats, but it is 100% food safe.
Yep.
There
Yeah.
is food safe walnut oil out there. It's sold in the grocery store. It's in the
Yes.
salad dressing section. But
It'll go
But
rancid.
it can
it
cause
will go
allergies.
rancid. You look at those packages and they will say once open must be refrigerated, where Mahoney's will never go rancid because those proteins are gone. They're just not there.
Exactly.
And it polymerizes into the grain. It hardens into
Yes.
the grain.
Right.
There is one
Mahoney's
finish.
polymerizes, but the ones from the grocery shelf do not.
There is one wax finish that has been tested and is found food safe. It's Hampshire Sheen's wax finishes. It's gone through all the testing and everything, and it's on the label. It says food safe, and he's done all the research and the testing, and he's really proud he could put that on his label of his waxes. So that's out there.
Well, I'll tell you what, by the time you go through all the testing and everything, all the analysis that it takes to be able to put that on a product, you have spent a lot of money, and absolutely you would be proud of that.
Yeah, he spent a lot of money doing it. It took a couple years before you got the results back and everything. So,
Well,
yeah.
beeswax is a natural product that you can eat the beehive. So,
Right.
That's all
Right.
it is. And Canova wax, they put it on apples
Yeah, to make them shine.
for you to eat. So both of those waxes should be fine. Beeswax and Canova oil should both be fine. Canova wax.
Great information tonight. Dean, before you get away, in January is the 5th, 12th, 19th, and 26th. Which one does Dane put in?
So y'all want to see a plate turned?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir,
well,
we
you-
do.
Well, Dean,
Yes.
Yep.
hey, Dean.
That
Yes.
is not a problem, Dane. They're teaming up on me, brother. Go ahead and put
So-
me down.
Well, we already got you for one day in December, so
Yeah, I forget what day is that.
I have to look. I'll send you a reminder.
All
but
right,
you
please
do
do,
your-
because I
do
didn't
your-
put it on my calendar.
Okay, yeah, you can do your platter for that or plate for that one.
I can do that.
Cool.
Yeah, Dane, don't let them off the hook. We got them for 2. We got them for 2.
Oh, no,
Yes.
they always know they got a rotation coming up.
Oh, okay, all right.
Just give him a week between each one of them, make him do 2.
There you go.
Why
Wait a
stop
minute,
at
Brenda,
2?
I thought you were on my side.
Oh, no, she got a
am.
turncoat. You
see-
gotta watch her.
I want to see your turning. I want to see you turn.
There are no sides here. It's all fair.
It's all fair.
It's
Yeah.
all round. No sides, all round.
All around.
There you go.
Well, hey, so Cade just jumped on, and I know Cade's got something.
Surely.
Cade's a king.
Hey,
Cade
Cade,
is the king of.
Hey,
fishes.
what's happening,
yeah,
brother?
sure. I got something I can show. I just finished a demo, so I can show you what I demoed and
That's how I
might be
knew you
able to
had
find
something.
something on my finishing table too here. But yeah, I was demonstrating for the Keystone wood turners today, this evening. That went well. That was very fun.
That's good.
Here we are.
Where are the keystones out of, Cade?
So today I did teardrop boxes in the demo. So I have a couple I could show. All right, I just got to throw my lights on and there we are. Throw up my phone here. There we are. Hope all is well.
Doing good.
How's our boy?
Yeah, he's doing good. He's getting big. He's a little bit of sleep regression lately, so he's up and down for sleep and fighting naps like a champ. But when he goes down for a good little while, so we get a little break. So I have a couple here that were examples. So this was one that's almost finished. It's almost shiny enough so I can shave in it. But winter is coming. We had snow the other day, so I think this will be keeping me warm in the winter. But so there's one, a small little teardrop box out of walnut. This one you might have seen. It's just not finished yet. There's one in baby blue. Almost shiny enough. Might need a couple more coats.
What are you putting on them for a finish?
These are tongue oil, polymerized tongue oil. So past the incubation period, once all the solvents, levelers, and hardeners have evaporated, it is food safe. That's what I've heard about all finishes in North America. Or especially in Canada, I guess. So there's one in ash.
Oh, you can't even see the seam in that.
That is gorgeous.
That's awesome, Kate.
Oh, look at the grain match on that.
Love that.
That was pretty plain Jane ash when I started, and that was out of a 2 by 2 by 3 inches tall. And just so happened, once I put that oil on there, it really came out like olive ash.
Damn.
And the one I turned today in the demo was this one here. Let's see, we get that grain match there. Oh, a little whited out there. There we are.
That's gonna come out nice.
That's gonna be nice once you get the finish on it.
Okay, I
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
say it's gonna come out nice. It came out nice.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And the one I did as a practice run, just to get all my camera angles and everything ready for today, was this guy. And I dyed him yellow.
What's the material?
Tulip poplar.
All right.
Tulip poplar, pretty plain Jane. So I dyed it. Some of the other demo pieces where they're just oiled, these are going to be textured, embellished, or in some way or some form. So I'll show those in a week or two. We'll have to.
Are those
get
good
it.
sellers for you, Cade?
Pardon?
Are those good sellers for you?
Yeah, they are.
Good deal.
Yeah, they're pretty good sellers for me in the galleries, the stores, the consignment shops. And some people even get them for little keepsake boxes. So for instance, this one here, and this is my grandfather who inspired me into everything wood. It's glued closed. So when family members want to separate ashes for keepsakes within the family, they're a good keepsake. That one I couldn't open, but he's the inspiration he's the inspiration behind everything wood for me, because we used to sit on the porch of the cattle ranch and we would carve farm animals and whimsical houses out of cottonwood bark. So that's what sort of got me intrigued into everything wood. So
it's beautiful work.
Yeah.
Now
that's the
Gorgeous.
Pele.
Now we'll throw an idea out there because I did a lot of small boxes. At one time, a friend in a jewelry store was taking him to put the diamond ring in for the "Will You Marry Me?" And that's another market to look at, folks. If you're doing these little boxes, find a friend who peddles off the jewelry, and they're a great little box to put them in. And that will the little box that you get at the jewelry store will get thrown away. That will not get thrown away.
They'll keep that forever.
Yeah.
That's true. They do make good jewelry boxes, keepsake boxes, ring boxes. The small ones are almost ring boxes or engagement boxes.
Oh yeah. They get a look you get on your face. You get it on your face and you handed your wife that thing at dinner one night. You know, just here, this is for you. It better have a nice ring in it. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Cade. Great seeing you this evening.
Thanks, everyone. Good to be here. Missed everyone, so good to be back.
Cade is the parent of our youngest member, Cash. Cash is maybe 6 months old now.
He's 4.5 months.
4.5 months. When he
But
brings
he's probably the size of maybe a 7-month.
when he brings Cash on, Brenda and Kim and a bunch of others just melt. Oh, look at it, but it's okay. This is a good show. We and program. We do this. All right. Anybody else got anything to add tonight? We got a minute or two to go.
No, that's it. That's it for gallery. So
All right.
We were talking about finishes while ago, about walnut oil. I put the grocery store type walnut oil on a plate, and it didn't work at all. And I'm gonna have to strip it off and put the polymerized walnut oil, because that stuff they sell in the grocery store is not the way to go.
no, that's for
Yeah.
salads.
You have to consider the market.
The one thing I have been told, if you do use that, you need to make sure that that bowl or plate or whatever has plenty of air for a long, long time. You don't want to wrap it up or stack anything on top of it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Remember that
One thing to
grocery
add to
store
that-
product is made for that market, and there's a big. Okay, it's like putting cheap tires on a fancy car. You don't do it, so the oil is based upon its consumer. And we are a particular consumer.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
He said that he's gonna scrape that off then. Well, if it's oil, it's soaked all the way into it, hasn't it?
Yes.
So would you won't be able to scrape it off, will you?
I could probably put the right kind of oil over the top of it. It'll be all right. It
No.
dries. It just,
Once it's rancid, it's rancid. You're never going to get it out of the wood.
That's what I was thinking. If it's soaked all the way in.
Yeah, you can't cover it up. It's still in there and it's still rancid. It's not going anywhere. And if you put a walnut oil finish on top of that, it's just going to lock that into the wood and it's just going to turn it probably worse.
it never turned rancid. The only thing is when I cleaned it after I ate off of it, it had spots on it that took the shine away. So I think I can do something with it.
Well, now let me say something about that. Once you wash off that oil that's on the exterior, it's gonna take the shine away. It'll be a matte finish. It won't be shiny.
Yeah. And you don't really want to seal that in, because if you seal it in and it's sitting on a table, all the moisture and water content or the rancid oil inside won't be dry, but you'll have a hard film finish. The wet finish on the inside will actually boil within the sun if you have it on a table that's sort of in the sun, and it'll actually make the hard film finish bubble and dislodge from the wood itself.
Come up to the surface.
Boy, y'all have me swimming in my mind here tonight. Great information.
On the takes
Beautiful work.
on nut finishes.
Yeah.
I would maybe try and just use a beeswax, maybe a diluted beeswax solvent or beeswax carnauba oil solvent of some mix, and put that over top, because then it can at least breathe with the finish inside that you will not be able to get out completely, and just hope that it doesn't go rancid. You can try soaking it with a solvent to maybe seep out some of the oil that's within it. But 9 times out of 10, you're still going to have 10 to 20, maybe 30 or 40% of that oil still left within the very core of that piece.
One experience that I've had with walnut oil is when I put it on, I put it out in the direct sunlight. I let the sunlight cook it. And then I wipe off the excess. Put on multiple coats, and I've yet to have anything go rancid using grocery store walnut oil. That's my experience.
Okay.
Maybe the sun cures it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, Kate.
Somehow.
All right. Well, Gary, when you get that item finished, we want we want to know what you did and how it came out, please. Good, bad, ugly, Gary. We want to know the details. Well, folks, that's it for tonight. It's 3 after the top of the hour, and we've had a great time. We've been here about 3.5 hours tonight talking about wood turning, and we only ask one thing of you: bring a friend. Bring a friend so we can all share what we all know about wood turning, because which one of you didn't go away with a tidbit of information tonight you didn't come in with? I don't see any hands going up. With that, I got to, pardon?
Save the chat.
Save the chat. That's right. Save the chat. In fact, thank you, Brenda. I'm going to go over and do that right now.
I thought you
Click on
forgot
those
it.
3 dots
I forgot it myself.
and save the chat, and then it'll be on your computer just the way it is right now. And Scott's got a IRD lined up. The details are in there and much more. So with that, folks, it's good night and hope to see you back next Wednesday evening. And that's pre-Thanksgiving Day. So, bring a little whatever. I'll see you next week. Take care. Thanks for making it a great wood turning day.
Good night, Eddie. Good night, y'all.
Good night, all.
Patty.
Night, Eddie.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night.
Take care.
Everybody have a great week.
Give you a
Hate to
call
tell you,
here.
but I'll be
maybe.
back.
Will you guys?
Good night, John Boy.
Night, Grandpa.